Pastor Sunday, and now we are discussing the topic of the last book. The last book is called Questions, and the question is why this book is called this way, and what topic is discussed in this book. So the person who doesn't have any questions is just biological mass, who doesn't have any questions in general. And after every lesson, this pastor, nobody asks questions,
вопросы необходимо задавать прежде всего для собственного развития, для того, чтобы развиваться. Но не простые там вопросы. Вот как любят некоторые за одно занятие спрашивать 3 раза один и тот же вопрос. Одна девушка спросила, потом вторая, там или мальчик спросил. Ну, да, профессионально. В сфере я работаю тоже услуг, обучения. Бывает, договоришь аудитории, значит, какую-то информацию, и действительно, что не все ее слышат, и не все хотят ее слышать. А когда идут вопросы, то легче это доносится.
Not everybody listens and not everybody accepts or gets it clear. Let's welcome Pastor Sunday. Hello everyone. God bless you. Okay, we'll start with Ukrainian style.
Ми знайшли Україну, ми знайшли її щастя, ми знайшли її радість, ми знайшли майбуття. Україно кохана, Україно жадана, ти наче в лузі калина, ти наче пташка в гаю, а ти, мов дівчина в Україці, пишна у хаті селянській. Бачу тебе, Україно, в аурі я християнський. Бачу тебе, Україно, в аурі я християнський. Давайте всі разом скажемо: бачу тебе, Україно, в аурі я християнський. Бачу тебе, Україно, в аурі я християнський. Пастор Sunday, я хочу вам подякувати. Знаєте, я хотіла вчора, я просто як Дух Святий вів сьогодні, така мені прийшла пісня, у нас є українська пісня. Знов зозулі голос чути в лісі. Це мій голос зозулі, це як знов мій голос чути в лісі. Представляєте, я вийшла десь з лісу, довго сиділа в тому лісі, і хочеться вам просто сказати дякую і заспівати цю пісню. Знов зозулі голос чути в лісі, ласівки гніздечко звели в стрісі, а вівчар жене отару плаєм, тьохну пісню соловей загає. Всюди буйно квітне черемшина, мов до шлюбу бралася калина. Вівчаря в садочку тихому куточку, хто знає, жде дівчина, жде. Йшла вона в садок повз осокори, задивилась на високі гори, де з беріз спадають чисті роси. Цвіт калини приколола в коси. Всюди буйно квітне черемшина, мов до шлюбу вбралась Україна. Вівчаря в садочку, в тихому куточку, жде дівчина, жде. Вівчаря в садочку, в тихому куточку, жде дівчина, жде. Україну жде весь світ. Дівчина – це Україна. І Україну жде весь світ. Пастор, я хочу подякувати. Чому я сьогодні в такому наряді, це вже Бог знає, дух, я вже йшла. Сьогодні я таки подала проект, пастору написала, що я хочу виходити в мир і робити такі творчі центри, творчі вечори свої. Тут в мене є такі файлики, я випустила. І з вашого благословіння в мене вже сьогодні відбувся такий, як сказати, святкове відкриття, праздничне. І сьогодні я 13 років було в церкві в Ірпені, посольство Боже. І я сьогодні з короваєм, з баяністом. Це дуже було красиво, звичайно. Це сам Бог, тому що талант я не маю свій, це все від нього. Від нього, від Бога. Таланта в мене нема свого, це від нього. Я йому всю славу воздаю, всю славу Господу. Звичайно, да, талант, він же плоті дав мене, звичайно. І хочу подякувати пастиря за ваше терпіння, за ваше таке батьківське серце, татове серце, знаєте, який любить, покриває, який, незважаючи ні на що, просто любить, вірить і чекає. Це ви, пастир. Я хочу вас обняти і такий маленький тут презентик вам подарувати. І побажати вам дійсно, ви знаєте, на домашній групі якось ви задали таке питання, а що як я поїду? Як ви будете без мене?
Уїду.
Уїду! По-українськи поїду, а на російській мові уїду. І ви знаєте, я тоді не сказала, але я написала, що я хотіла сказати. Надобно так бути. І ми повинні це прийняти. Ісус теж сказав, я уходжу, різні етапи життя, але пошлю вам утішителя, Духа істини, і Він наставить вас на всяку істину. Тобто, розумієте, у мене такі слова є красиві, колись я пісню, ми вас колись поздоровляли, давно вже, з днем народження, є такі слова. Пастор Сандей, за вами ми ідем. Пастор Сандей, ми вас не підведем. Пастор Сандей, Пастор Сандей, Пастор Сандей, за вами ми ідем. Пастор Сандей, Пастор Сандей, Пастор Сандей, ми вас не підведем. Пастор Сандей, ми молимось за вас. Пастор Сандей, ми любимо всі вас. Пастор Сандей, Пастор Сандей, Пастор Сандей, ми молимось за вас. Пастор Сандей, Пастор Сандей, Пастор Сандей, ми любимо всіх вас. Ми любимо всі вас любимо. Всі люблять, але я знаю, любов вона ділами, любов це діла.
Тут саджають, тут судить, тут обвиняють, тут наїжджають. Так що в силі.
Вся Україна, пастор Сандей, якщо є тут, всі. Знаєте, якщо не зараз, то потім. Не зараз. Якщо не зараз, то потім. Це 100%. Вони зрозуміють. Що це за людина? Була на Україні.
Там перевод идет сегодня или не идет перевод?
Pastor asks if there is a
Ашуана, дайте ей просто...
interpreting today.
Get your earphone.
А представляєте, а ви стали свою землю і прийшли за мою Україну, ви віддали життя.
Вы знаете, я вам скажу, что у меня компенсация есть. Вот однажды мне задали этот вопрос недавно здесь, может месяц назад. У нас вечер такой вечер вопросов и ответов. И меня спрашивали мое впечатление об Украине, что я скажу, какое у меня остается впечатление с Украины. Я говорю, что двоякое впечатление. Первое, это то, что я думаю об Украине как загадка, в общем, да? И второе, это мое личное переживание и впечатление. Вот что касается Украины, в общем, что я думаю, не самое лучшее выходит, но что касается мой личный опыт, мой личный опыт, самое лучшее. Именно с теми людьми, которые мне приходилось сталкиваться, я считаю, что мне повезло с людьми, с украинцами. И поэтому я думаю, что вот это второй вопрос, личный переживание, она компенсирует за все внешние негаразды, которые
I'm going through now, so there is balance. It's balanced, not set bad. And God usually makes life white and black, so everything is good in general.
Я хочу від імені землі України, так як я сьогодні в національному українському наряді, просто низько вклонитися вам. Стать просто на коліна перед вами і сказати вам дякую.
Обниму, задуши вот так.
Okay, let me better hug you.
Дякую.
Thank you very much.
Дякую, що я була з вами в Африці. Дякую, що була в Америці, Білорусі.
Это не конец еще.
Letting me be with you in Africa, in the USA, it's just the beginning.
Готовьтесь, видите, каравай привезли.
Да,
в
Америку,
да,
и Австралию туда. О, Богу все слава, да. Каравайниць готовить.
Это самое лучшее представительство Украины, поэтому мы вас будем собираться.
Я счастлива, пастор, что я Христа имею, счастлива, что вас имею. Через Христа имею вас.
Уже ищут. Уже иностранцы, Англия ищет.
От, і якщо такою нагодою користуючись, в мене є тут такі файлики, свій талант віддаю людям. Творчі вечори, концерти, люба тематика, запрошуйте. Завжди в живому, живий звук. Не пластинки, не касети, не диски. Хто бажає, дарую. Хто бажає, дарую. Хто бажає, дуже швидко дарую. Швидко. Дякую всім вам. Хто ще бажає, пастор, люблю вас.
Welcome Pastor Natalie Potopaeva. She is here today. She visited us from Germany. Welcome her, please. We're very happy to see you here, Pastor Natalie Potopaeva.
Спасибо, Ольга.
Thank you very much.
Ой, осторожно, осторожно.
Здравствуйте. Слышно меня, да?
Hello, everyone. Do you hear me?
Говорите в нем.
Please speak to the microphone because it's being
Ну, рада
recorded.
вас всех видеть.
I'm
Я
happy to see
прилетела,
you
как
here.
видите.
I
Но
have
я
come
должна
here, as you
уже
see,
послезавтра улетать
but after
обратно, потому что
tomorrow I have
ко мне
to
приехали
go
туда
back
пастора из Днепропетровска,
because I
Юрий
have some
Ханцев,
pastors visiting
со
me
своей
in
женой,
Germany.
поэтому
I invited them, but anyway, it happens this way that I'm here and they are there, so I'll have to leave as soon as possible. I'm very happy that I am able to be here, to be a part of this fellowship in Germany. I don't know why, but I see it only in recording. We don't have it live, so we are catching up with you here. And it's really happiness. I'm happy to be here alive. It's good that I see that Ukraine is saying goodbye to our pastor, because it's not his place. He has done everything possible here. He has fulfilled his calling here for Ukraine, and we have to pray so that he gets freedom and can continue his mission. When I was leaving, I remember the church prayed that I stayed, but I have to explain, and you have to understand that you have to let your pastor go. God has to accomplish the miracle, and our pastor has to have this opportunity to fulfill his calling. He hasn't even entered into his calling. So Ukraine has been a basement for his mission, for his work in Christ. Thank you very much, Pastor. I'll go with him wherever he goes. America, Africa, China, if I am alive. So thank you very much. Welcome.
Мама церкви.
It's our mother, the mother of our church.
Ну что ж, давай. Мы должны начинать вовремя, потому что мне надо в конце поехать в Киев. У нас конференция какая-то идет там.
We have a conference in Ukraine,
мне
so
надо
I'll have
успеть туда заехать, заглянуть хотя бы, поприветствовать народа
и потом сюда обратно. Welcome our people. So,
хорошо, сегодняшняя тема.
Today's topic is
влюбленность возникает
falling
и
in
в
love
жизни
or
совестных
being in
людей.
love happens in life of
есть,
people
видите,
who
какой
have
вопрос.
conscience. So the question is very
Как ты понимаешь
interesting.
этот вопрос?
How do you understand the topic? I was reading,
у меня
and
даже нету смелости говорить об этом вопросе. Это очень
I don't even have courage to talk about this topic,
Но ты не в принципе
because
сам по себе смелый.
смелый, да?
actually I am very
Не до такой степени.
brave,
да?
but
такой,
not
да,
А где Ольга?
that
Ольга, пускай Ольга сидит впереди. Мне нравится на вас смотреть.
that's
Такой
sort of
красивый,
point.
а не я. Садитесь где-то ближе.
Я читал
Кого-то еще надо посадить. Будем вас посадить?
Please sit somebody else in the front. Okay.
Читал тезисы, и там
I
говорится,
was
что мужчины
reading
влюбляются до миллиона раз за год.
Topics
То
that
есть
Искушение,
men fall in
сексуальные,
love.
сексуальные подсказки, сексуальные искушения.
There was
я
temptation,
миллион.
and
И как бы я сразу заглянул в свое сердце
immediately I
и
looked
думаю,
into my
ну как
heart,
бы, и
and I
начал
thought,
смотреть, в общем. Ну, то есть,
started to analyze my
на самом
heart.
деле тема,
Эксперимент проводит.
эксперимент, да, на самом деле
In
тема
real,
очень жесткая. И если
the
как бы
topic
просто
is
можно жить
very
и говорить там, ну
serious,
зачем об этом говорить и не
and,
отвечать на этот вопрос,
you have
то многие
to
люди
ask
попадают в это.
this
И
question
если
and
мы,
answer this
ну как
question.
пастор учит, что
A
не
lot of
думаем
people,
о предстоящих проблемах до того, как мы
are
пошли в путь.
tempted.
Ну думаем, да ладно,
So
знаете,
if
есть
you
такое
don't
как бы
think
понимание,
about,
решать проблему по мере их
questions,
поступления. Но
before
так
you
вот
set
эта
off,
проблема
it's a
из ряду
problem.
тех,
There are
которые мы
some
уже не можем
problems,
решить,
there are some
когда попали в
questions
них.
which are
То есть,
solved,
если с этой
upon
проблемой
their
столкнулся, ты уже
arising,
не
but
можешь ее решить
if you
сам.
are in
То
this
есть
problem,
влюбился,
if you
ну,
got
как бы
into
кто
this
видел
problem
влюбленных
of
людей
falling
или
in
сам был
love,
влюбленным, помнит,
you
это
are in
безумные
trouble.
люди.
It's too
Ну,
late
это
to
человек,
start
который не
looking for a
слышит,
way out.
не понимает,
When you are in
ему не
love,
объяснишь,
you
что
don't
ты работаешь.
understand.
То есть надо
Lord
разобраться
here.
до того,
Да,
да?
So
до
you
того, то есть
have
надо
to
разобраться до того,
understand
как попал туда,
with
потому что там уже
with
не
this
разберешься. То
problem
есть
before you go
Уже
into it.
затянул, да?
влюбленность
when you are
можно сравнить
involved,
с
it's
какими-то либо
already,
психическими отклонениями, либо с
problem,
наркотическим
because
опьянением,
being in love
связанным
It's,
с
Он правду
it
говорит.
can be
психотропными
compared
веществами.
with a
Вот я
psychological
употреблял
problem.
такой наркотик, и у меня
I
знакомые
used to
употребляли
use
наркотик, называется
some
ВИП.
psychotropic
Кололся, начинает,
drugs, and
начинает там, да,
when
начинает
you are in
добывать,
this,
драгоценные металлы. Я ему говорю, слушай, там нет драгоценных металлов. Он говорит, есть. Я говорю, как есть? Нет, он говорит, и никто ему не докажет, ни родители, ни родные, ни близкие. Вот наподобие этого влюбленность, наподобие этого случается, когда ты допустил, попал уже туда, все, ты не можешь себя контролировать. Поэтому я думаю, то есть очень важно как бы понять сегодня, осознать, что же я должен делать, чтобы сохранить себя, чтобы не попасть туда. Потому что, когда ты видишь такого человека, тебе с одной стороны его жалко. Ну, если посмотреть, если сюда смотришь, жалко. А потом думаешь, ну это любовь. И тут, ну, как бы какая-то целый вихрь мыслей, который возникает, и ты думаешь, как бы, ну, пусть он будет счастлив, он же любит. А это же бред, он не может быть, как любит? Ну, это может быть, он вообще не любит, а просто хочет. А любит это другое. И получается, как бы, ну, дать ответ на этот вопрос трезво кому-то оценку, там, ну, ты такой. Ну, это как надо. Взял, там, оскорбил человека, он от тебя отвернется и никогда с тобой разговаривать не будет. Поэтому надо знать. Я думаю, что, как бы, ну, пастор, вы подняли эту тему, она классная, чтобы мы действительно знали корень, откуда это берется, как с этим разбираться. Как этого не допускать? Что же делать, если ты там очутился? Потому что это тоже важно. И если кто-то, ну, думает, что, да, знаете, это из разряда всех, кто угодно, кроме меня. Да нет. И ты там можешь быть. Это из разряда, как от сумы, от тюрьмы никто не застрахован. То же самое влюбленность. Это пришел и влюбился.
Не, шума, это намного сложнее. Далеко сложнее, чем влюбленность. Влюбленность намного ближе к дому, чем шума и тюрьма. А это еще вероятности тюрьмы миллион. Да, 1 миллион.
А влюбленность каждый второй, да? Нет, но на самом деле, я думаю, что сегодня мы покопаем свое сердце. Надо быть очень искренним с собой, чтобы сказать себе,
заходите сюда, здесь место есть.
Я вообще переживал то или иное. Или я сейчас это переживаю.
Да, искренность это главное.
Искренность сегодня, да. Сегодня, я думаю, искренность это то, что нам надо вот как бы всегда смотреть, искренне себе говорить.
Вот еще, повтори эту тему.
Тема называется «Почему же влюбленность возникает в жизни совестных людей?»
Вот. Очень часто, иногда, особенно, вот эта проблема верующих, христианская проблема. То есть, и эта девушка, ну, я просто ее обожаю, ну, которые не написали это письмо. Это я вам расскажу генезис этого истории, начало этой истории. Ну, то есть, вообще, истории этого письма. Соберите ее туда, может быть, там, пускай там ближе, вот. Рори тоже туда пошла и пошел, он же.
15 seconds after.
Yeah. Может быть, да, чтобы ей будет легче. It's better, she's just going there to listen, so it will be better for her to sit at the back. Так что давайте поприветствуем всех, кто по телевизору, ну, по интернету. Приветствуем вас, церковь.
Welcome.
Ну что ж, вот это письмо мне написала девушка, которая сама росла в христианской семье. Она дочь пастора.
She is a daughter of a pastor. She's a wife.
Замужем.
She's married.
Ну, дети есть.
She has children.
Муж тоже пастор.
Her husband
И
is
она
a pastor, and she's a pastor.
То есть, ну, она нормальная.
Which means she's
из тех разрядов, которые считают, что, в принципе, да, не из группы риска, да? То есть, ну, в принципе, такие вещи с нами не происходят, чтобы вы знали.
Such things don't happen.
То есть, это только, да, это то, что происходит только с неверующими людьми, в принципе, святые, а только с грешниками происходит. Как это я верующий, и я хожу в церковь, и я такой порядочный, и я Слово Божье слушаю, и я хожу каждое воскресенье, и при этом влюбляюсь как-то, или при этом попадаю в грех, или при этом, ну, влюбчивость, или при этом как будто нравится, как это так, неприлично слишком, да? И вот это, с этого нам надо и начинать с вами. Вот это вроде бы мы теоретически знаем, что это, ну, никто не подстрахован, да? Это тебе не чума. Люди болеют от чумы только во время чумы. Во время эпидемии. А что
get
касается
sick when there is an
влюбленности, это
epidemic.
всякое время,
Без времени
But
года.
talking about falling in love, it can
да,
happen
всякое время
anytime,
горят.
depending of
То есть и
the
как
season.
такие
So,
вещи могут
how
произойти?
can such
И
things
я
happen?
должен согласиться, что
And I
я
have to
лично
agree that personally,
первый из тех
I'm
людей,
the
которые должны
first
покаяться.
person who has to
Потому что
repent.
долгое время
Because
я
for a long
тоже считал
time,
так, что если ты
I
уже
also
покаялся, ты
thought, I
верующий,
considered
что такие вещи вообще не
being a
бывают. Не может
believer,
быть с
you
тобой, с
cannot get in
верующим
such a
человеком.
trouble.
Ты верующий, ты Бога
So you are a
любишь, Бога
believer, you
боишься.
believe in
Как
God,
это
you
ты можешь
repent, and
влюбиться в кого-то,
you
особенно если
can't
ты
fall
еще и
in
женат,
love,
ты замуж,
especially
как
if
бы,
you are
у тебя
married,
дети,
then you have children, so it's
разряд
impossible,
вон,
it's
из
already
вон
kind of
выходящего.
absolutely
Вы знаете, но
nonsense. But
у меня есть книга
I have a book
«Ценность тренера»
about
и
the
книга «Доступ», «Испытание доступ».
being
И
checked with an
ценности
access
тренера я
and
говорил об
the
этом в
value of
плоскости
your
того,
coach.
что
I spoke about
Бог проводит
such
лидеров,
things when God
руководителей, тренеров,
works with
менторов
leaders, with
обязательно.
mentors,
Через
definitely
некоторые вещи,
through
не самые
some
приятные,
things,
через
and they are not
неприятные
really
испытания,
pleasant. They are
проблемы,
like
для того,
testing
чтобы они
from
могли
God,
потом понять.
so that people could
Тех людей,
understand later
которые
on they are
идут или которые
people
потом
who
пойдут
follow
за ним.
them or who will
Потому что
follow
если
them.
Бог не
Because
проведет их
if
через
God
это
doesn't
прежде,
lead you through
и
this
сначала
before
они
you get
будут
into
жить только в
temptation,
осуждении,
they will live
и они
in
будут жить только
the
в
feeling of
обвинениях,
accusing,
и
they
они
will
будут
blame
презирать
people, and they will
других людей,
neglect
у кого
others who
подобные
have
проблемы.
such
Неважно
problems.
какие. Это
Doesn't
может
really
быть вот
matter what
сексуальные, как мы
kind
сейчас
of
говорим,
problem,
или
sexual,
другие
not
вообще
sexual,
другие.
any
То есть, допустим,
any
у
other
меня в
problems.
жизни
For example,
есть
in my
некоторые
life,
вопросы, которые
I
я
have some
не мог
questions
понять.
which I
Но благодаря
really
проблемам King's Capital,
hardly understand.
представьте
But
себе,
because of the problem
меня
with King's Capital,
с
can
Божьим
you imagine
позволением,
me
дьявол
with
сажал,
God's
можно говорить, что
letting
в
that
темнице
happen,
7 лет.
devil
И
kept
когда
me
я еще при
for
этом
7
суд, я
years
никуда не езжу
in
вообще,
prison.
только в
You
церковь
can
раз в
say
месяц
I
и суд.
go
Суд,
every
допрос,
time
суд, допрос,
for
суд, допрос.
every
И
day to
Бог
court,
позволил,
to
чтобы,
investigation,
потому что
and only
какой бы
once
ты
a
ни
month
был,
to church.
сильный в
God
духе, у тебя
let
тело.
it happen. Whatever
А тело
strength
есть
you have in
предел.
your
Ну,
spirit,
если тело,
you
это
have
тело,
body.
значит.
You
Да,
have the
кто-нибудь
body which is
поищите
weak.
место Писания,
Please
где написано,
somebody
что
find
Бог,
the
Он нас понимает, потому что Он знает, что мы
when
перст. И
God
что мы,
understands us
мы
because He
всего лишь
understands that we are just,
тело, мы всего лишь
flesh.
перст.
We are
Вот,
just
вот, найдите это.
flesh.
То есть, вот,
So,
и вот, если бы не это
if
период времени моей
not
жизни,
this
как,
period of time
ну, я
of
думал,
my
что
life,
я уже
I thought that
совсем знаком.
I was somebody who had
120
met
как
Ибо
everything.
Он знает состав наш, помнит, что мы
Bible says,
персть.
Вот почему Бог не
For
осуждает.
God knows
Он
what we
знает
consist
состав
of, and He knows that we are
102,
just
14 стих.
На английском это
we are
будет
just-
103,
In English it is
103,
Psalm
13 стих, по-моему.
103 and verse 13.
103,
So God
13
knows
стих
that
на
we are
английском будет.
flesh.
Вот
So-
Он знает
So
нас.
He knows
Он знает
us.
наш
He
состав.
knows
Бог
what we
знает, что
consist
каждый
of.
из нас
God knows that
немощ.
every one of us is
Он знает.
weak.
Вот почему Бог
He
никогда
knows.
никого не судит.
That's why
И вот
God
почему Бог
never
Он говорит, что не
accuses
судите, чтобы не,
everyone.
потому что
And
ты
He
сам будешь
says,
судить.
please
Попадешь
don't judge
обязательно. По
anyone
гарантии.
because you will be
И
under this judgment.
почему Бог всегда
And
поймет.
why
Вот кто
will
бы
God
сейчас не
always
смотрел
understand?
нас,
What-
или кто бы здесь не
whoever
сидел, через
watching
чего
us
бы вы не
now,
проходили, послушать меня
whoever
сюда.
is going through some
Что бы ни
things,
происходило, что бы ни
whatever is
происходит
happening
в вашей
in your
жизни,
life,
одно, будьте гарантированы в одном
I
деле. Я могу
guarantee
в этом
one
вам
thing,
уверять, что
that
никто не поймет. Но
nobody
Бог
will
всегда.
understand.
Не то,
But
что
God,
иногда поймет. Или,
it's not that
или,
sometimes
может быть,
or
поймет.
partly He will understand.
Послушайте еще раз. Я это
Listen to me
слово еще
carefully.
повторю.
I want to repeat it
Бог, Он
seriously.
такой, на то и
God
Бог. Что на основании этого
is
места
such
Писания,
a
Он
God
такой
that
понимающий,
according to
что
this
страшно для него
scripture,
будет.
it's sometimes even scary
Вот почему
to
люди попадают на
imagine
небо,
how well He
и они
understands
там
you.
иногда
That's
встречают
why
людей, которые
people,
на земле мы считаем неверующими.
sometimes
не как мы.
get to heavens or paradise and meet people
Как это
who
он сюда
they
попал?
had
Потому что Бог
considered
такой тонкий,
unbelievers and they don't understand how could that
нерелигиозный.
person come to heaven.
Он такой
Because God
понимающий.
is not religious.
Он,
God
как
is
там
such
написано?
but God knows.
Когда Бог,
Listen,
когда вы
when
слышите, что
when
кто-то
you
верующий,
hear
greșeli, ili
about any
upal, ili
believers
ce-o
that
slășilă,
they sin or
ili
they
pastor,
failed
ili
or
lider.
pastor leaders
Bog,
doesn't really
который
matter.
его
God,
поставил,
who set this
или который
person
его
to this position,
спас,
or who saved
он
this
знает,
person,
что это произойдет с ним, или это застав
he
Бога
knows.
расплох.
Do you think
Вот то,
God
когда вы
knows what
попадете
would
и
happen?
падаете, или
So
когда
when
вы
you
совершаете
fall,
ошибку,
when you
или когда
sin, when
Бог
you make
до того, как Он
mistakes,
спас вас,
even before you
знал,
were
что после
saved,
того, как
He
Он
had
спас вас, вы
known
будете
that
совершать ошибки,
you would
или у вас
make
будут проблемы,
mistakes in
или
the
Он
future,
просто
that
Он
you
в шоке
will
был, когда
would
Он
have
услышал.
these problems, or you think God was shocked when you made a mistake.
И при этом Он
And
умер за вас.
He
Он
died for
пролил
you.
кровь.
He knew it and He
И при
died.
этом
Even
Он принял вас.
accepted you,
И при
even
этом
knowing what would
Он
happen.
омыл вас своей
And
кровью.
He
И при этом Он
washed
приготовил вам
you
небо.
with His blood, and He had prepared heavens for
Почему
you.
Бог терпит нас?
Why does
Несовершенно?
God feel
Почему
this
Бог
compassion? Why
тратит свое благо,
does
благословение, свою милость,
spends
свою
His
милость,
blood
прощение на нас, если Он
forgiving
знает,
us,
что
for
после этого
washing
мы
away
еще
our
будем
sins, that
спотыкаться?
He knows that after this we would make a mistake
А потому
again.
что Он
Because
смотрит на сердце. Он говорит,
He
я не
looks
смотрю
at
на
your heart. He says,
внешнее, я
I
смотрю на
don't
сердце.
look at your
И если Он видит, что
outside
твое сердце стремится к Нему, что твое сердце
life
хочет
or
угодить
what
Ему,
you really do. But when He
Бог
sees
такой
that
тонкий.
your heart wants to please
папа
Him,
может не понять,
your
мама может
father
не
may
понять.
not understand you, your mother may
один
not
пастор может
understand
не
you,
понять, даже
maybe
пастор Sunday
even
будет
the
вас не понять.
pastor, maybe even Pastor Sunday
Знаете, ни
will
один пастор посольства
not
может не
understand.
понять.
Maybe
Потому
neither
что
of the
мы все
pastors of the
люди
God's
имеем
embassy
тенденции
understands you,
сразу
because we
судить
people,
друг
we
друга.
always
А вы
have
знаете, почему мы
this
судим?
feeling of judgment
Не потому
immediately.
что
You know why we
нам
judge?
нужно
It's
это
not
как
because
потребность. А
we
мы
need
судим,
it.
потому что
We judge
нам
because
нужно самоутвердиться.
we need to
Да.
self-estimate or
Каждый, кто указывает на
or-
почему Бог говорит,
or
вообще запрещено.
justify ourselves.
Ты не смотри на сушок
Why
в глазах
does
другого,
God
потому что у
say,
тебя
don't
бревно
look
вообще.
at the piece of wood, a little piece of wood in the
Вот как только
eye
что
of
ты
your
начинаешь замечать
brother,
какие-то
because
проблемы
as
других
the
людей, значит, у тебя
moment
бревно,
you
100%. У
notice
тебя
it,
еще хуже ситуация.
you definitely
Почему? Потому
have
что это уже
even
проблема.
worse situation.
Потому
Because
что
it's
это не
already a
природа
problem.
Бога. Почему
Because
Он не
it's not
судит? Он
nature of
знает то,
God.
что ты
Why
не
does
знаешь.
God
Он
not
наисуставный.
judge you? Because He knows what you consist of.
И что пишет дальше?
И помнит, что мы
And
персть.
let's go on.
Помнит.
Bible says that He remembers that we
А ты говоришь,
are
а как он поймет,
of
не поймет, он простит, не простит.
ground. And you think if God
Он-
understands, if doesn't
Только и
understand,
ждал.
forgives or doesn't forgive,
Чтобы ты
no,
понял,
He's
что Он помнит.
simply waiting for you to understand that He will forgive.
Да, да. Он помнит,
Помнит, что тут
что ты
He
всего лишь
He remembers that you're just made
И
of
Он ободряет
ground.
тебя
And
за то,
He
что ты,
encourages
несмотря ни на
you
что, все равно
because
идешь. Вот я вам скажу
independent
то,
of
что я не мог
anything,
понять.
you're just walking, you're just
Вот
going
это дело
on.
пишет.
So it's
Потому
what
что
I
это
couldn't
с ней
understand.
начнется.
We will work on the letter. With this letter, the lady writes that she's happy, she's married.
Я с детства, даже в миру я была девственница, да?
Even when I was unbeliever, I was a virgin, and here I don't understand. I am married, and
Не пойму, что со мной
I don't understand what's going on with me.
Может, в психушку мне надо
Maybe I have to see a psychologist or a doctor
Вот я,
or
допустим, и
go
очень много
to the
христиан, которые не
asylum.
могут
So
понять, что такими. Потому что с тобой
some
нет, ты
Christians
думаешь, что
don't
такое
understand
Вот я,
because you
допустим,
haven't
что
gone
я не
through
мог
this.
понять.
What I
Только
couldn't
и
understand.
благодаря King's Capital,
And thanks
благодаря
to
моему
King's Capital and this court story in my situation here, I have gone through different things. I have gone through the valley of death shadow. It will encourage me. The devil will pay off for that because I will set people free. I will raise people. I will encourage people. So the first thing that I didn't used to understand is weakness. I didn't understand how you can be weak. I didn't understand that, what it means. Maybe somebody like me now, he don't understand something, but I know very few people like me who didn't understand what it means to be weak, or you mean sick, or what does it mean, weak? How can you feel it? When you say weak, he's weak, I didn't understand how it can be. Can you imagine? But now, after my court experiences, I can tell you even what I felt. It was not me who felt strong. If God didn't give this grace, I wouldn't feel it. It was like a stone, I felt this wonderful power, being sure physically, with my soul, with my spirit. But when you are cut from the morning to the evening, you come to the place of weakness. I didn't know it was connected with God's grace. I thought it was me. It was because I was praying, because I was fasting, because I was good. I was the best. Like, it was me. I was good. So you should understand. So this is the thing I didn't understand. Second, people often tell me their stories. Something happened to them, and they remember it. And they cannot set free. Maybe the father rejected, maybe a mother beat them, and then says that it influenced on them, and somebody divorced, and it was still kind of feeling of being refused. Okay, I was rejected by my mom, by my dad, and I didn't understand that the person could feel unsure or weak because of this. I have always felt that I will manage. Whatever I had in my childhood, I had a father, I didn't have a father, I am always sure. I know that if something, I am the best. I had never had this question, how? But when myself, I who knew that there is a problem, I should stand in front of God 7 days of fasting, 14 hours a day praying. And when I did it once, twice, 3 times, 10, 27 years, and nothing helped, it was something. In short, every possible temptation and trial, through this, God let me go and let me experience it in 7 years. So, then I didn't understand that people fall in love. People fell in love with me, of course, I understood that. It was okay. And then when you feel this, that you have no brakes in your brain, like a car without brakes, you don't understand what's going on. I had never understood that. So I was writing, I was preaching about a God who leads people through some situations, that you should understand people and then you can help people. But I didn't know that it really could happen. I thought it was one thing when you know it in theory and teach about it, but when it happens with you, you think that, does it really happen? Does it really happen with people? You quickly start to understand other people. Your gospel changes immediately. Then you start to understand God. Then you understand God, why people are people and God loves us. Why He says, don't throw your stone at anyone. So many positions which I have never understood. If there anyone from editors, please write a book on the topic the things I didn't understand, or the things I don't understand. So the things I didn't used to understand, some things that I wasn't able to understand. So Pastor Sunday is looking for the best name of the book.
Мне вас не понять.
Да, мне вас не понять.
Или почему я вас не понимаю.
Как не осуждать людей, или почему я не понимаю кого-то?
Мне вас не понять, да. Или мне непонятно.
Вот есть такие моменты,
so there are moments
кому-то везет в жизни. Допустим, еще другой момент, который непонятно.
For example, one more thing I don't understand. I can't understand why people are not successful. It's a question for me. I really can't understand. Okay, I meet businessmen, and I thought, like, how can you be a businessman for 10, 20, 30 years, and you're not a millionaire? It's easy for me, so I don't have to be a businessman to become a millionaire. 2 or 3 days a week, just pay attention to this question, and in a year I can earn some money. It's not a problem for me. And when you 24/7 work and you are not a millionaire, I just don't understand how. But sometimes God breaks us, breaks our emotions so that we see such people, so we understand such people. It's what we see, Pastor. When you talk about success, it's just easy, and we look at it and we don't understand. How can you? You work all day, you work non-stop, and we don't understand how you manage to be a millionaire. That's easy. And Pastor Sunday says, I couldn't really understand not successful people, because it's easy for me in every direction possible. I have thousands of pastors, and none of them has collected or made 1,000 people church, at least from the beginning. And it's a question for me. I'm shocked. But thanks to these situations, I started to understand what it means when you can't, you don't manage. God knows that I'm not guilty, and I don't understand why God doesn't justify me. So I have faced another reality. It's not, you can't understand, you can explain it, you can explain everything, you can do anything, and logic doesn't work, or principles don't work. It doesn't work as it is supposed to work. So this is something that from year after year repeats, because you feel that you have got almost there, but in a second you understand that you are somewhere where you used to be. So for me it has become a different reality and a different shock. Every time I don't I'm shocked when I don't understand how you can't become successful. Okay, when maybe one person is okay, but if I have 10 disciples and they don't manage, but when 1,000 people cannot do something, I think that either I'm not normal or the world is going crazy. But it's something that I used to think that it was because of my principles, because of hard working, because my abilities, because the Word of God, because the truth in my life. So I thought it was not by God's grace, but by my efforts. Actually, I did work, and I thought it depended only because on that, prayer and work, prayer and work. But now I'm working in the same direction, with the same efforts, and I see that there is no result. I've always said that if there is a problem, it's only because you don't pray. I used to say that. Do you think I haven't prayed all these 7 years and haven't fasted? Pastor, the whole church is praying for you. Every night, 7 years, every night, 40-day fasts, thousands of these things. God wants me to experience it in my own life, so that I could not only see the side of life which I know, but I should know the opposite side of love or life, which will let me understand people more and help people more. So this is the question which we are raising this today, about relationships, about falling in love. It's absolutely different direction and different direction which I couldn't understand, that God helped me to go through, and I understand some things. So if I used to think that I don't understand some people, I still cannot understand some people or some situations, but God knows how we should get to the point when we don't judge anyone. And when I got this letter, I asked this girl, I won't name her anyway, but I want to raise this question in public, because it's one of the things which God wanted to change in me. Because I used to think that if I live a righteous life with principles of God, I love God, I do everything correctly, there is nothing wrong. So actually you can find nothing wrong. It cannot happen that I do something wrong, because I don't do anything wrong. And of course I'm trying to live righteous life. So when King's Capital happened, so I think I had to. I used to think that I was trying to help people, but when they turned it upside down, and I told to myself that, okay, people didn't know what happened, God knows what happened. He had to know the truth. God knows the truth. Why did God let it happen? So actually it appears that you can never explain everything in life. You don't have, don't hurry up to explain how you could do it. How could it happen? How could you explain this? But the lesson which I had, it's not about understanding and not about getting into the details how it could happen and so on, but first of all you have to hear the people, you have to cover people with your love, support people, not to punish them, not to accuse them, but understanding. So this is something that I used to think that I had it, but comparing to what I have learned in 7 years, I understood that I didn't have anything. In these 7 years, I felt like it's like a millstone. It's like I've been there. I have become different. And the best for me description of this event, I can, like the result I have got to, it's understanding on how God looks at us. Let's repeat. Because He knows what we consist of. He remembers that we are just ground. God starts anything with the position of understanding. We always have to understand. The only thing you have to start with, or you can start with, is understanding. You don't have to justify even anyone, because He remembers what we are. I used to tell you, like some time ago, I told you a story about Fares, when Fares started to walk when he was 13 months, and when he was 1 year, I was holding my son and told him, walk, walk, make one step. But the first time he did it, he fell, and I was so happy. I was happy with his falling, but I was holding him and hugging him. I played with him. You know why I didn't take a belt and didn't punish him after the third step in his life and falling, like what kind of son you are, what kind of example you are. You are my son, but you are not like me. Why didn't you walk? Why didn't you make a lot of steps? Why do you fall? Actually, you are 1 year old and you fall. Why didn't I do this? Why? Why didn't I punish him? I understood. I understood that this is my child, and he's a child. I accept him, and I see his efforts. He walked. He made one step. Why was I happy? Because 3 steps, your son, 3 steps. Everyone is trying to do the best. Even the pastors who couldn't understand something, they couldn't understand me, they were trying. They are still trying. Even the person who fell, the person who sinned, anyway, the person struggles, so she's trying to do her best. If I come to her and just start punishing her or accusing her, I'll destroy her. So what God does, He knows 100%, He understands 100% that we are just crowned. He understands that, He remembers this. But there are people who are lucky, I don't know, maybe God gave them, like me, it's just a blessing that I didn't understand. That is what I'm telling you. Maybe there are different people, but how can you understand weakness? Being not successful, when you are defeated and you accept it. So I don't understand that. So if I decide to start doing something, it must be, as I said, or better, not less, not worse, just better and more. So this is a shock for me. This used to be a shock for me. And I think from these milestones which I have lived through these 7 years, I have come to this understanding, and I will be able and I can see other situations. And this is what I told my wife privately. I will tell you what happened to me all these years. It was as if God told Satan to Job, go and do whatever you want, just don't take his soul. I let everything happen. This is what I felt about my life, about me, that I was powerful, but God let it happen. It was like I was tied with my hands and my legs, and God let me live through every possible bad thing in my life. Why I'm telling you? Because I feel that this period of my life is changing. It's going to an end, and now I can witness. I can become powerful and tell you this experience, because if I leave, I want you to know it. I want you to remember that God knows that He remembers that we are weak. We are just piece of ground. You will have everything in your life. And so, one more time, thanks to this girl, I told her that you shouldn't divorce. The things that you fell in love, that you slept with someone, that you have sinned, it doesn't really matter. Don't divorce. If you decide to divorce, then everyone will divorce, because everyone has felt love or passion or sex or whatever, like, connected with this. But if you destroy everything, you know, in our culture, if somebody deceived someone, then divorce and everything is finished. But you should understand, there is no person on this planet, in this world, that who hasn't been tempted. And if you start to tell the truth about such things, you have to understand, you have to forgive. Don't believe that there are super people. God gives us grace. God, for example, there are people who come to church and they sin, they smoke, they drink, they, you know, what we do usually. It shouldn't be in church. It can't be in church. How could he? How could he? Because he did it on purpose. Why have you come if you smoke? So we become very rough, very people who don't spread love, but spread judgment and death. And I think that my experience, my life situation has happened to bring another view, God's point of view on such things. What is His point of view? I know you. I remember that you are just a piece of ground. You will have it. You will have, maybe in one field and in other part of life, you will face some things when you fail. You have to remember, you are not an angel. You're just a person. You're just a man. You will never become an angel while you're here, while you live. I believe you. Pastor Sunday says that. I even tell you, when I felt like half God. I had this power and I felt this grace, and I thought it was me. I thought it was like, I'm praying because of that. I'm so powerful. I'm half a God. I read Bible every day, and I felt like I am almighty now. And it was grace of God. Pastor, first of all, thank you very much for starting this topic. It's not really usual, it's not standard. Yes, because once I want to open things in my life, and I want to show you things, but of course everything I cannot tell you, because you will have a question like, how are you still alive? But anyway, it's grace. I didn't think about that some years ago. Personally, when I look at you, because you teach about power, about strength, and sometimes you look at Pastor Sunday and think that maybe Pastor Sunday has this, maybe he can do it, and he's the only one who can do it. Pastor Sunday says, yes, I used to think it was easy. It was not a problem just do it. Yes, and I was really sometimes a little bit cruel to that thing when you feel weakness. Yes, and our brother continues, yes, I even accused myself because I told myself, if my pastor can do it and I can't, then I'm wrong. I'm not good. I'm not a Superman. If he tells you can do it and you can't, then you are afraid that you lose your brand, your self-esteem. So you always accuse yourself for being a little bit not that quality, because you are trying, you put all efforts and you are not there. So when such things happen, you feel that something wrong is going on. First time, Pastor Sunday says, thanks to King's Capital, I felt that I'm a person. I'm a human being. Of course, I had known that, but I had felt I'm not a usual person. So actually everything worked out. Everything had worked out and I had no mistakes. But it seems it's dangerous. Because when you feel like half God, you cannot justify people. So when God put me into that and let even not proper things happen in my life, so he just wanted to break me. And now people don't understand me, and they tell me that I have become too soft, I have become too acceptable, trustful, you forgive people, you have changed. But they haven't gone through the things I have come through. And I tell them, you are nobody. When I thought about such things that people were going through, I thought it was just, nothing. But when I myself went through such things, I understand what it is. So now our brother says that I understand that even if something works out in your life, it is just by God's grace. So you look differently. You look at yourself with God's eyes, and you understand that without God's grace, you cannot do anything. You cannot move forward. You cannot even get a revelation without His grace. Now, a pastor is writing from Russia. Thank you very much for starting this topic. Thank you. This is life. It's welcome to reality. A real life, real things. So you see, the question was formed, and a person, a normal, a decent person, you already feel if the person has conscience. People who have conscience, they cannot fall in love. They simply cannot, because you have conscience, you are good, you are married, you are a mother, and suddenly you fall in love? And you're a pastor. And your husband is pastor. And actually, it's nonsense. You can't. How can that happen? It shouldn't happen. But you see, this is this thing we have created, is the image of a Christian, which is really not true. That's why God let things happen in our life. Pastor, could you please answer how to react to such situations adequately? For example, we ministered at a rehab center for some time. We prayed, we preached, and it appeared that during this time he used drugs. He went home used drugs and came back to rehab center. One situation. Second situation, I am a pastor and I learn that my first helper, responsible for things when I am absent, for some time drinks and beats his wife. And on the one hand, I don't understand. I understand why he does it. He was weak when he faced temptation, but I cannot tell him, okay, do it, because I can actually have this problem as well. So what should I do? First of all, you have to understand God's point of view on this situation. This person is just a person. Just a human being. Second, your first reaction should be, I have to listen to him. This person who goes from the rehab center and comes back but uses drugs, I have to listen to him. Please tell me. There is something deep inside. Automatically you say he's a liar. He has a double life, double standard. He does it on purpose. He's playing. He's alone with, like, when he's alone, he is one, and when he's with me, he's different. So let's talk openly. Sergey, I know your story. You, personally. How many times did you go away from God personally? Or even being a pastor? You see, when I am in this same situation, it's me, God forgives me, things happen, it's me. But when you talk about your helper, I am responsible, I am a pastor, I cannot forgive him, I should react somehow, I have to be just. So you see the nature of a person. You forget that just yesterday you were there. And this is what God calls lie even more than what your brother is doing. So what you should do when things happen to you, first of all, you have to tell it to people, so that people see that you're not bad, that you are not a bad person. You want people to understand it. You wanted people to understand your situation. The same, like, first of all, your helper or your brother, of course he repents, of course he wants you to understand he is not bad. He wants you to think good about him, but in real, he wants to be accepted, listened. He wants to be listened to. He wants someone to understand deeply his heart, cover with love, and tell him, we will go through such things together. Just tell me, just speak out whatever you have in your heart, and then together we will manage. It will be a different question. It will be a different question in general. How many times has he done it? It's a different question. Jesus was asked about such things, and 7 times he said, 7 by 7, 7 by 70. Whatever Jesus told you to forgive your brother, you remember 500 times a day. So it doesn't really matter how many times. But we, people, we want to justify and protect ourselves by the number, how many times he did it. It's not a question, like, how can you cover such a person 400 times a day he can sin, but it's about your ability to accept such a person. It's my examination, it's not his. And if this person does this constantly, simply because nobody has listened to him, nobody has understood him, nobody has gone deeply to the situation which he is going through. Maybe there is some emptiness. Of course, there is some emptiness. There is some problem inside his heart. Nobody has got there. While he goes on doing it, it's a signal that you haven't got there. But the thing that you or somebody else came and never sinned again, you think it's because of you are good, you are powerful, you are strong. Listen, it's just, I want to tell you sincerely, even to think that it's you is a sin, because God gives you this grace. If you think that it's you, you will get in the same problem. You will never even be able to explain how it happened. This is the thought which has bring you to the point of your understanding that it's not me, it's not by my power, it's not by my strength, it's by your grace, God. I didn't used to understand that. Really, I thought that it because I am praying, I am fasting, I am developing this relationship with God. Yes. Yes, and our brother says that, okay, yeah, I have this thought because I have had this temptation and I haven't failed, but on the other hand, you think that this person who sins maybe doesn't put a lot of effort into that. So I heard the same preaching. This person heard the same preaching. We were present at the same prayer meetings. I understood something that he didn't. Why did I understand? Because of God's grace. It's not because I am good. I'm such a good person. So I understand it. Thank you.
Pastor, во-первых, хочу сказать большое огромное спасибо за то, что вы вообще открываете such topics
and you start opening your things, your mistakes, the things that you actually do wrong, because I know there are so few people, because of love to different people, you just open things which are not really good. You just open your heart. It's always painful. Of course, it's dangerous even, because somebody can write it down and will put this as an article in a newspaper telling he's this, he is bad, he is such a bad person. I am the angel of God and this pastor is bad, look at him. Of course. So there are a lot of people who would really use this information from a different side, but you find this courage because of love to us, to give us this understanding so that we don't worry about our mistakes. You open your own life from a different point of view, because maybe there are people who have come recently to church. I came to church in 1997, and I know such a pastor who I saw that our pastor is strong and everybody should be strong. And I remember I was condemning myself like, because I'm bad, I'm doing something and I don't manage. And I wasn't able to see people and to accept people as people. Of course, it was tough. We were brought up by hatred, with a hatred to sin. If a person sinned, it was very serious. It is right from the one point of view. On the one hand. On the other hand, we couldn't feel compassion to people. We couldn't feel it as Pastor says now. Because first time I was shocked at one of the retreats. Pastor spoke about this. It wasn't the topic, but we spoke about it. First time he said that God doesn't blame you for anything. It was really unusual because for many years we had heard a different point of view on such things, and when we were going through such things, very difficult things, I cannot, for example, tell everyone or open this to everyone. I don't want people to understand that you can go and make sin or whatever, feel free. But people started to talk about it. Maybe people had to hear it so that they stopped accusing themselves, because people started to cry when they understood this heart of God, that God doesn't accuse you for your weaknesses. We were really shocked from what we saw, from the things which we like we understood that God is different. So there were situations, and it helped me to start working on myself, on my feelings and attitude to people. So when you accept God or perceive God from one side, and you see that there is a different side, you have to work hard on yourself to change your attitude to people, because you have had a different attitude to sins or to weaknesses. There were, for example, some people, there was a family, and they had problems, and they visited Pastor Sunday, and they lived separately for some time to think, to analyze, and the husband went on living as he lived, and pastor gave him some responsibility, and the wife, it was home cell, and his wife asked him, why do you support my husband, we have a problem. And pastor said, look, the thing that he failed in one thing, for example, in marriage, it doesn't really mean that he is a bad person in general. On the whole, he is so developed and so good that people should learn from him. So what I understood at that moment, that our pastor teaches us to separate weaknesses in one field and look at strengths of the person in other fields. So thank you very much, Pastor, for doing that. It helped me to start working on myself and stopped accusing myself for weaknesses that I have. And why do we accuse ourselves? Because we are filled with pride. We are proud. We cannot forgive even ourselves. Like how it can happen to me. To her, it's okay. Yeah, she's weak. She's a prostitute, or he's a bad man, and so on. So we are like queens and kings. It's me. How could that happen to me? Why we cannot forgive even ourselves, and we cannot forgive others? We are upset, we are unforgiven to ourselves because we are righteous. So, and then we even cannot tell it to anyone, witness to anyone, that we went through some things in our life, and you just look at somebody and think like, how can that do? How can that person do that? Because I am righteous. And but I can tell you, I remember myself Yes, I tell you that if there are two people who are righteous in Ukraine, I'm one of them, of course. But it's about your position in front of God. It's about your position, like about your going to God. So your position in front of God. This is your righteousness. Life is different. Life is so different. You remember Abraham, he is righteous. He made mistakes, but he was, making all efforts to be righteous. And not only him. Look, check everyone. Everyone. No, he was drunk. David, you know about him. Why? Because it's not about the things you do. It's about your position in front of God. Yes, it's so powerful. It's a different understanding of the heart of God. So please, Pastor, record this fellowship, because we have to listen to it. We have to understand it. It's not enough to hear it once. You have to change your brain. Okay, let's remember. Why does so we are talking about being our sister wants us to have this recorded and listen to this preaching or this fellowship topic a lot of times until we get it right, because we are different, and a lot of people will confirm that it's the first time for some people to see God this way. Pastor Sunday says, I think it is the last thing that I felt I had to bring to church before I leave. Because if I leave earlier, our church will become so righteous and so religious that you will destroy each other. Yes, of course, there is always, kind of people who, from the name of God, will eat their brothers and sisters, forgetting that even God himself tells, I understand, you are just a ground, I remember, you are just stuff. But you go from the name of God and you just kill everyone. You can even rename this topic. It's not only about falling in love, but about God who understands our weaknesses. So let's give this a different name. This fellowship, Pastor, we need it. Could you please rename the topic of today's fellowship? Why God understands our weaknesses. Why God understands our weaknesses. Okay, of course, about love, but we need this book. We definitely need this book. But be ready, Pastor, that you will be not understood correctly because of this topic and because of such books. Because a lot of people during that retreat, you raised this topic that God doesn't accuse, that God is different from what we used to think about Him, so it was difficult to accept this truth. So some people really don't understand the heart of God, and there is a need in such a topic because of religious spirit in our church. Yes, good evening. I wanted to tell you that even now, if our helpers, leaders, pastors, if you are my helper, we have different people around us, and if I set an ideal level of my helper, you always have to remember that first of all, it's not your assistant, it's a human being. Sometimes we don't even see a personality like a human being. We just see a leader, a helper, an assistant, a pastor. So you cannot accept some things from your assistant. So we don't understand, or we stop understanding that this person is just a human being. So when a person makes a mistake, you automatically start judging. So you have your understanding of position of the person. For example, my pastor, Lesia, and I have been for a long time by her side, and at some periods I saw her ideal, then I saw her not such a perfect person. So I have gone through different things with my pastor, and I understand that this person accepted me as a human being. I am myself not ideal, and when I saw not perfect things, you can get focused, so when you focus on wrong things, you see everything wrong. But you can set your focus on good things, and you understand that, okay, there is a problem, there is a problem, but when you are focused on good things, then you see this person good, and you can go on with your relationships. So, for example, we spoke about rehab centers, that a lot of leaders make mistakes, they fail, they sin. And yes, okay, for example, you see the person, okay, he failed, but before this scene, for example, this person was a leader. It's not him. Look at him in this perspective. You just see that this is a leader. Yes, there was a problem. Yes, he had gone to wrong things maybe once, but be focused on the good parts. So Pastor Sunday says that if there is a problem, that you accept or perceive a person in your life only while this person is good. So while this person behaves well, it's okay, we perceive. But as soon as this person makes a mistake or sins, you don't perceive him. It means you don't love. It means you use this person. Of course, subconsciously we do it. It's just, society, religious spirit, and this culture. That's why a lot of people left our church. Some people left church because they had accepted you as a perfect man, and when they saw something that wasn't really right, they couldn't accept, they couldn't forgive, they couldn't go on loving you, and they accused you and rejected. So we will accept the policy is like, we accept you only when you are perfect, only when you pray, you are saint, when you give us help, when you give us teaching. But the moment you make a mistake, it's like the feeling we cannot accept anyone if it's not a perfect person. So you should understand, this is my father, he is with me, He loves me. Who is perfect? Who is ideal? Who doesn't make mistakes? I accept him. You are yourself the same. For 20 years, your pastor helped you and he was good. But the moment you don't understand something, you don't love him anymore. So what we have, we perceive this person only if this person is good. And the moment we notice some impurities, we destroy this person immediately. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's already something bad. So this is you are in real. This is what you are in real life. And the worst thing that maybe when it's you should understand that out of 100 points, the person was good. This 1 point, which is negative, crosses out everything good for you. Is that right? Yes. This is the moment. We need one little thing which is bad, and we will make everything bad. And it's everywhere. It's all people who do it. But Pastor Sunday says everyone has something bad, but everyone justifies like themselves, but their moment is that okay, but maybe I'm not that good, but I'm not a pastor, I'm not going to the top. So for example, if you know about weakness that I have, I'm not Pastor Sunday anymore, I stop being a pastor. Our sister comments that for many people that is so you're not a Pastor Sunday anymore, but I'm not losing anything, Pastor Sunday says. The person who left me, this person lost something that I could have given him, but the person doesn't understand that. Okay, let us see that, okay, 20 years, 10 years, I gave you information, I had this problem, you didn't know about it, I had this weakness, but you didn't know about it, and then when I was a hero, now people are getting dressed and leaving. So when today you learn this about me, God accepted me with this weakness. During those 20 years, I had it. So God accepted me and gave me anointing for some other things, and He got you from these strengths that I had and worked with you through these characteristics or features that I have. So what changed that you learned today that I am not so sane and or I have something bad? What would happen if I didn't tell you anything today? You would live happily for 20 more years until you learn it. I wanted to say that
способность не сходить к слабостям другим,
чем
свои собственные прегрешения. А у нас вообще все, то есть еще раз повторю, к святости вообще, и к праведности более ближе лежит способность не сходить к слабостям другим,
to forgive weaknesses of other people than my personality or my sins. So I wanted to finish my idea. I have been a minister and for 3 years I served in a rehabilitation center, and once I had experience, like bad experience in my life, and I started to smoke, and then I understood that it was equal for me. When you start smoking, it's the same that you start drinking or, you know, doing other things. So I thought, that's all. So I'm finished. My life is finished. And I didn't know how to tell it to my pastor because I understood that for her it would be a shock. And I understood that she would just, you know, take me off everything possible and discharge me in general. And in general, I was just finished. So when I told my pastor, my leader, of course there was a pause, and she told me, okay, let me call you back in a second. It was, and Pastor Sunday says, yes, that second was eternity. You just died in a second of waiting for your pastor to call you back. And we had just opened the church. It was, you know, like the moment she called me, she invited me, she covered me, she accepted me, she embraced me, she talked to me. She told me that the main thing that I opened it to her. Pastor Sunday commends, understand this is the right position. When somebody fails, in general, thanks to 7 years of going through this problem, I'm trying to get the right word. Falling in sin, it's not the right word. It's not correct. He did something, okay? The person did something. It's not falling, it's not like to fall. You have to fall in front of God's face, like you have to fall out of relationship with God in general. So, you know, it's something like falling of a devil, like, okay? So it's not the correct word. So what she did, she smoked and she thought that she fell in sin, like it's not about that. It's not about falling. The thing you smoked, it's bad. But she was standing in front of her God. She did it. She did something. You can correct it. You are in front of God. If you like to fall, you have to go from God's face. It's to tell the truth. It's really complicated process. But what we say, any action, we call it he fell in sin, like, or she fell in sin. So it's kind of you're crossing this person's destiny. You just, you know, like nullifying this person in general. So you have to change these words. When you say that, so what I usually see that this person is destroyed. You are burying your helpers, you're burying your officers, your generals, instead of supporting them. What your pastor did that time, that was ideal, understanding. So it's okay. She said it was an action. Tell me how it happened, why it happened. So you have to listen to the person to understand what caused this action. So not to sin. We're not talking about this. Talking about sin and other things, but you have to support this person, protect this person, and then you give this person hope. But when you say that this person fell in sin, it's... You have to understand this is person, it's still a person. So the main thing, you know, if a person fails and doesn't tell anyone, it's only because he is afraid to face the reaction of somebody else. That's why you are afraid. That's why you live a double life, because we are afraid to confess. It's not that we are guilty. We know that people will condemn us, people will not understand, people will destroy you, people will just, become enemies. That's why people who leave churches just change telephone numbers. They don't want to talk to anyone. They don't want to accept anyone. I feel that God is talking to me right now. God tells me that that is what He wants to bring to Ukraine, and God will not let me leave Ukraine before I reform this thing. It won't be full gospel when I leave and don't change the situation. So you will just cut off people's head if I leave, and you stay with this point of understanding of God. It's not the full, like, it's not church, it's not God. But if you become like God with understanding and mercy, which is higher than judgment, so God wants it to happen. But in our embassy of God, what we have is judgment. And this is why only God knows what I had to go through to come to this point which I'm talking to you today. So I didn't understand. I didn't used to understand that such things are really real in general. I couldn't understand sinners, or I couldn't understand them as God understands them. This is what I want to bring to my church, because then I understand that church will be the place when a person who did something will return, because it will be the only place where he or she will be accepted after doing something. Hello, my name is Victor. What I want to say, I have personally gone through this topic. I used to be a military man, and I finished some military technical schools and so on, and I am a leader. I have always quickly become leader, and I was chosen quickly. So I noticed a tendency when I became a leader somewhere, anywhere. Of course, I had some kind of power. I had power on the people the same age, for example. And when a person came to me and asked for having a day off or holiday, whatever, I had the one who had the power to decide if I give him 3 days or not. So sometimes it was like, I will decide as I like. We didn't have a common decision, and sometimes I said, until I am the leader, I will decide what you will do. And you know what happened? In some time I noticed, as soon as I said that, I lost this position. So when I
помощником, старшим командиром, то есть являть справедливость, то есть меня же сюда для этого и поставили.
When I was chosen to be senior somewhere, I was chosen and appointed to show righteous things, to show mercy. And very often our people who become leaders, we become people who have power to decide or to judge, let's say. So the third time when I was appointed to be a senior, I understood that there was something wrong, that every time I make the same mistakes, and later on getting into the same situations and seeing when somebody made mistake of, not righteousness or righteous. When I condemned people, I saw one thing: when we are judged, we want. When we are judged, we want mercy. But when somebody is judged, we want righteousness. When I'm mistaken, Pastor Sunday says, I demand mercy. But when somebody makes a mistake, we demand righteousness or the righteous judgment. So I understood that I'm a human being. Sooner or earlier, I will come to the same position of the person who would plead for mercy. So there is no person in this world who would not have weak parts. He is not the deputy to God. If he is a person, he is stuff like something. But you don't know this. Maybe you don't know it. Maybe he hasn't come to this point when he shows you this.
Дальше, читая Библию, я постоянно натыкался на такие слова, где было написано,
While reading the Bible, I saw
меня всегда это потрясало. Вы, наверное,
such ideas, maybe you have seen it.
Взлетал какой-то человек. Вот просто, вот его никто не знал, не видел. В посольстве Божьем звезд сколько таких было?
Sometimes we saw people, we have seen such people in church who immediately become stars in the embassy of God, and I am still I'm still surprised by such people. God says that such people, actually people are his slaves, and he raises whoever he wants, and whoever he wants, he
То есть получается, что каждый из нас, ну, как бы,
let's say,
имеет правильная позиция.
So,
моя получается,
so my position is to look at God and to ask God, judge me concerning my actions and my walking in front of God. Actually, it's not about me. What does Pastor Sunday do to get to these revelations or such position? It's not my business. My business is to analyze my personal walking with God. We always tell that somebody prays, somebody doesn't pray. Once I heard one person praying that he had never done anything wrong while you're walking with God, or maybe you always stand at night prayers, and every time I think now, God, be merciful to this brother, because you never know why this person is sitting during night prayer. Or like, okay, let me talking about one of our brothers, Shidlovsky, the technique why he. Okay, talking about the problem of that brother, he was in a prayer ministry, and he thought that he had become a witness of weaknesses of Pastor Sunday, and he started to analyze them, and that was his, okay, even if I was weak, okay. God says that my slave falls or stands up, it's not up to you, it's my slave. So you don't judge. So in front of God, somebody stands or falls, and this brother started to go to TV studios and witness and tell everyone about his father's actions, weaknesses or sins, as he called it. So he wanted to be a star, standing or basing on the weakness of Pastor Sunday's and weaknesses or actions, and it was a raising of his career, and from that moment on it was falling. It was already falling because it was a breaking of spiritual rule. It was yes, it was a moment when you saw something in somebody's eye. It means you have the same thing, but in bigger quantity, in number or size. So it means you are already there. You are already in the problem which you describe when you see it.
Иди прежде вынь бревно из глаза своего, а потом увидишь, как вынуть сучок из глаза брата твоего. Я когда-то понял тоже так,
So once I understand, while you are dealing with a log in your eye, you will understand at least how painful it is to take something from your brother's eye. So while you are dealing with the log, you see that it's really a problem. Maybe you don't have to take it out before going and dealing with your brother's eyes. So go to yourself, analyze yourself, work with yourself, with your logs in your eyes, and then you will see how to help your brothers. So, talking about the understanding which I came to is I'm sinful. It's everywhere, in every possible way. I am greedy, I am jealous, I am a sinner. Because when I spoke to my wife about giving someone or blessing someone, I used to say like 50 hryvnias, not more, and my wife told me, oh, 500 at least, it's, you know. So I'm greedy. You don't know me. When you face me in real life, I'm not that good. I'm myself, I'm a human being, and I understand that falling or raising is just, it's absolutely logical. You will always have it. So I am righteous only because God calls me this. So you cannot have only the white stripe in your life. It's unreal. So I am righteous only because God's calling me that.
И получается, что есть
такое страшное дело, как эта девушка спрашивает, что я, допустим, хорошо, ладно, с ней случилось. Твоя жена, допустим, с твоей женой сейчас служит. Твоя жена сейчас приходит к тебе и говорит, что я влюблен.
For example, let's say your wife comes to you and tells you, I'm in love. I have fallen in love with somebody else. Yes, I have already thought about this. Because you know that believers sometimes say that it's impossible. So actually, you understand that if she is a Christian and she is in love, it's already the end of everything. Of course, Pastor, I have already played such movies in my head because I thought if I have this, if I face this, I will just beg God for mercy. Okay, you're here, here you are. So any one of us wants mercy. We are willing to be forgiven. But why, if we want mercy, what, for example, people will hear us and if they hear that you have slept with someone, even people who are sitting here will have a problem. They will tell you to go away from this place and just stop being a pastor or go to the last row and sit there. So how can you explain that everyone wants mercy? Actually, we are selfish, we love ourselves, We don't love
Я скажу по большому
Victor
счету, как
Revuta.
бы вы не
We
любили пастора, меня,
can
по
tell you
большому
that,
счету, так честно,
in
по
general, to
чесноку,
tell
нам
the
всем
truth,
наплевать,
we don't
как это
care
происходит в жизни у другого человека,
how
потому
it
что
happens in the
я,
life of
главное,
somebody
мои
else,
проблемы,
because
мои
my
дети, мои
problems,
деньги,
my
мои долги,
children, my
мне
money,
плевать,
my
что там
debts
в
are
церкви,
the
что
most
я,
important
ну,
things
мне,
for me.
вот
So
я
you
важен.
have to tell
То есть,
yourselves the
поэтому,
truth that
то
I am
есть,
important.
здесь, если мы
I
не
don't care about
перевернем,
you.
ну,
So
как
if
бы,
you don't
вот
turn
Иисус как бы
upside
порвал
down
шаблоны.
this
То есть, по идее, он тоже
template
себя как человек
of
любил,
Jesus,
ему-то
of
тоже
God,
было
because I
больно,
think
ему тоже
Jesus
было,
loved himself. He
плохо
felt
и так дальше. Но он просто,
headaches, he had,
получается, сделал то,
you
что
know,
не-
like
не
things that
способно человеку. То есть
brought
он,
pain
ну,
in
как бы
his life, but in general,
пожертвовал собой
he
ради нас.
sacrificed
По сути,
himself for
получается,
us.
что эти мысли, то
It
есть, когда к нам
means
приходит
that
эта истина, вот эта истина, которая нас
when
делает
we
свободными.
have this
Почему,
truth
ну,
coming
ну,
into
тут
our
вопрос, что
brain,
если вот, ну, там, допустим, твоя
for
жена
example,
каким-то
what if
образом
your
придет,
wife
влюбилась или
deceives
согрешила?
you, like
Я
cheats
просто
on
как
you?
бы уже даже думая
I
это,
have
я понимаю,
already
что
worked
если
on this
вдруг
topic,
я
so
бы,
if
допустим,
something
таким образом,
happens,
я бы требовал, ну, или
I,
просил
if
милости.
something,
А
I thought
значит,
that
то
I
есть,
would
если
demand
вдруг это происходит в
mercy.
жизни
So if
какого-то другого
something
человека, ведь
happens
это
in
не моя
somebody's
раба,
life,
это не, ну, по
it's
большому
not
счету,
my slave,
это не
it's
моя,
not my
ну,
thing. I don't
собственность. То есть
own
жена
this
это просто,
person,
имейте,
even I
братья,
don't
жена
own
это
my
милость
wife.
Божья,
It's
пройти с
just by
человеком
mercy of
просто
God
по жизни.
to have a person
Да,
by your
это
side to
его,
live
это
some
его
part of life
дочь, это
together,
его,
but she's
ну,
his
как бы
daughter,
его девочка, он с ней
his
разберется,
girl.
не я,
He
это
will
не моя
deal with her.
функция. Она
It's not
только
my
решает,
function
жить со
to
мной или не жить,
deal with her
рожать
or
со
with
мной
her
детей или
sins.
не рожать.
It's up
Она
to her
решает.
to
И то,
decide
что
to be
сегодня она
my wife, to
прощает
give
меня,
me
готовит мне
children.
там
So the
еду,
things that
помогает мне в
she
каких-то проектах
helps
и так
me,
дальше.
she
Это
lives with
просто
me, she helps
милость,
with
и за
my
это я очень
projects.
благодарен.
It's
Она
just
не
mercy
должна.
of God
Поэтому мое
and
сердце
not
сегодня,
her
ну, открыто к
duty to
прощению,
do this.
допустим, не
So
только
my
только жена,
heart
но
is
вообще любой
open
человек. Я
to
просто
forgive my
внутри
wife,
себя как
and
бы
not even my wife
это,
only,
ну,
to
уже
forgive
это культивировал,
everyone.
уже
I'm trying
обдумал
to
это.
work
И вот здесь
on such
получается
things of like
Коринфянам,
ability
10 глава,
forgive
12-15
anything
стих,
to
здесь
anybody.
написано: «Посему, кто думает, что
So
он стоит,
Bible says, so if you
берегись, чтобы не
think that
упасть.
you
Вас
are
постигло
standing,
искушение не иное, как
be
человеческое».
careful
То
not
есть нас
to
всех,
fall.
нас
It's
всех
just, you know,
постигло,
like
нас
it
всех.
concerns
Даже если-
everyone. It's not
И-
only about your
и
pastor.
понимаете, то есть и
So,
епископов,
not about bishops, not about pastors, not
архиереев,
any position in presidents and everybody. So Pastor Sunday says, so if I haven't had these 7 years of this experience, I would think that there are weak people and there are such handsome men like me. So I understand that there are people who haven't lived through something that will help them understand that they have their own weak parts, weaknesses. So they still think, if they still think that it's not up to me, I wouldn't do it, it will never happen to me, then it's just a moment you have to live through when you understand that you can. And Bible says that God is faithful, who will not let you to be tempted by such things. I used to smoke 8 years, and God set me free. And even now, I understand. I understand that when I sin, that God will not let me experience more than I can stand. And there are people who can drink a bottle of beer, and there are people who can drink up to nothing, human-like. So the mercy of God holds us in a distance
подхватывает ребенка.
like you have seen, there are several video clips about deaths, for example, when a father catches a baby in a second of, like crash or falling down or going under a car. So we have to send this fellowship, this topic to every pastor. So Pastor Sunday wants this fellowship to be recorded and printed and sent to every pastor. So by mercy of God in our life, even when we are fallen and we feel that we are the dirtiest people in the world, God catches us. It's not the bottom. Even if we fall, God catches us in order not to hurt us, hurt our head, not to destroy our life completely. So when I understand such things, I feel I'm breaking from inside. I think some people will hear you and will tell you, like, how could he? He's a believer. How could he? Without God's grace, every one of us is just a human being. There is a saying, don't condemn a person who sins another sin, not your sin. So everyone, there is a brother, and I know that, for example, in our church, there is a brother who is going through difficult times, and I call him and I tell him, come on, let's meet, let's drink tea, let's talk. We are talking now, and I feel in my heart, I remember a story. There was a guy in our church. He had been married 3 times, got divorced, and he has just got married. He left church and God blessed him. He has 50 restaurants right now. And once he came to me and he told me, I want to go to church, but I can't, because people condemn me and people accuse me and blame me for some things that I cannot live with my wife now, but I live with her. I live with my wife, and so he is a businessman and he still wants to go to church, and I don't know, like, I want to find him. I tell him, I will pray for you, I will help you, you will be okay. He came to church, but he cannot immediately. But now I understand him more than I used to think about him. Now I understand that I have to listen to him and support him, so that I understand the depth of this problem, that he is looking for a woman every time. Because I told him that he was a Christian, and it was just, like, he had to take a word and stand on it, and gave him preaching, and gave him a preaching every day, but I didn't listen to him, I didn't understand him. I gave him the way out, but I didn't tell him, I know, as God tells us, I know you. So I forgave him, I accepted him. It seems like I accepted him, but I understand now it was different. By the way, this is the person who bought all the ACs in our church. But anyway, because of he couldn't set free of his sin, and I told him I gave him teaching on how to get rid of this thing, how to become saint, how to return. So I just taught him. He felt uncomfortable because we spoke only about one topic. But he is successful. He is good in different parts of life. But whenever we met, we spoke only about his sin. And I can give you a lot of such similar examples. And now I understand that we have to to change this thing.
мысль, которую я хочу сказать,
And the last thought I want to share with you,
что у меня все хорошо,
whenever I feel that I am okay,
это время, это очень опасное
the
время.
moment when I have this thought that I am perfect, I am good, it seems that we are looking for such position or such condition when you are okay. I have a signal that I have to pray this time, because Bible says that as soon as you think that you are standing, be careful not to fall. As soon as you feel that everything is okay, you have your home cell group like growing, your problems seem to be solved, you have a system of prayer and you are okay, you can relax, yes, you are fine. That is the moment when I understand that I have to be careful exactly at this moment. That's very dangerous situation. It should be a special situation when you have to come to God, because there is a trap. There is a deceiving point, and when people come to me, it's cool when people come to you and you can serve people when they don't know you. You come somewhere and people know that you're a pastor, they know that you come and go. People open their hearts. It's very hard to repent when you know a person and you know this person is every time, like you see him every day. So people open their hearts, I hug them and I tell them it doesn't really matter. Whatever you have said, I didn't hear it. I have heard a lot of stories, but I was trying to be like God. I was just accepting this person and encouraging, because the main thing is to stand up and just go. So we have to be careful. We have to be careful, because devil wants to accuse them, wants to steal them. And the truth is that we are all the same. We are bad people. So we are, even if we think that we are standing, may God let us not to judge somebody or not to accuse somebody, because you will be in the same position and you will just beg God to have mercy on you.
Я вышла на той ноте, когда вот пастор сказал, что
I came here
твоя жена
when
пришла бы к тебе
pastor
и
said,
сказала,
what if your wife would come to you and told you about falling in love. This summer, it was 10 years anniversary of our marriage, and I had a dream, I will tell you shortly. So, and I told my husband about this dream. We were going by car and I thought about this dream, and I told my husband about this. It was strange. So the dream was about my cheating on my husband. In my dream, it was in all the details. And my husband, in my dream, my husband comes, and it was somebody I knew. I didn't see the face of the person, but it was somebody I know. My husband comes and I introduce them to each other. I can't even imagine how I could do it in real life. But anyway, I told my husband about my dream, and when I introduced them to each other, my husband in my dream went to the bedroom and saw that something had happened there. So I woke up and I felt pain, and I told him that even in my dream I had felt that pain that I caused to you, and I told my husband in real life that yeah, it was really painful, and he heard me and he told me if something really happened,
мне кажется, что ты хотел что-то как-то так или ударить меня, или что-то,
And I told my husband that in my dream that I felt that in my dream my husband wanted to hit me or something. But my husband in real life told me that I would hug you. I would ask you, how are you? Are you okay? I would tell you something different. So my reaction was really strange. And his answer was strange because I thought like, how? I was thinking about it, and in some time I asked him if he really could answer or react this way, and he asked me not to check it in real life. But there was a teaching about why men cheat on their wives, their psychology, why they do it, that in real life they don't want it. And some women stood up and left during this teaching. Some women didn't come back to church. I never left, but for some time I couldn't even accept it, that it might happen in my life, and what should I do? And I would have to forgive somehow. So sometimes we are so unforgiving and not flexible unless something happens to us. So thanks God for this topic, and that we now can understand before we get in some situations. So I can tell you that this happens in my life, that very often we see somebody's action, and when I couldn't cover it, it happened to me. So when I think that I'm the best and I can be better, I always got in the same trouble, and my reaction or behavior was even worse. In June this year, we left our house and we were robbed. Our house, some burglars, so we were out one day, and at the same time some burglars broke into our house, and they took really big money. Actually, we had been doing everything right. We didn't keep the money at home. So anyway, we came back and we saw that we had been robbed, and the sum was really big, like 3-room flat. So really big money, and we understood, like one day after this, we were thinking and understanding that, okay, we have to understand that it might happen. So unless you live through such things, when you go down and you want somebody to understand, to support you, you cannot be open to other people and to their problems. This time we were at church anniversary in Uzhgorod, and it happened the night when we weren't at home. So it seemed like people knew that we were out, and of course when we were we spoke to people, refugees, we spoke just to people, and when it happened to us, we spoke to people differently. One girl, for example, we were going back on a train, and one girl told us about that region where we have the war right now, and some people told us that they lost their houses, their lost factories, job, many things. we listened, we seemed to understand, but you never really feel it. So you understand, but you are okay. Like these people have a problem and you kind of feel compassion to them and you are sorry for them, but okay, unless you live through such things, you understand some people, for example, when you are okay, they are ready to sell their flats to treat cancer or to treat somebody's life or save their child. So after this situation, when we even saw some accidents on the roads, I started to pray, because maybe this person who had an accident, it's the only thing he had, this scar. So sometimes we see accidents and we don't even pray. Sometimes maybe we see a person who died in this car, and unless we live through such things, we really don't understand. We are very closed. We feel only our problems, and we really 99% our friends, they supported us. They asked God to leave us through this situation. So actually, very fast, I forgot about this robbery, and so well, actually, some people even remember about this accident or this robbery, but we tried to forget and we forgot about that. So after this robbery, I feel that my heart has changed. I'm different. I'm different to people's sin or mistakes or failures. So
не может произойти, и я тоже не могла как бы
when you think that nothing can happen in your
только
life,
не со мной, только как бы не с моим мужем,
hadn't been able to understand that it could really
через
happen
эту
to
ситуацию
me.
я поняла, что это такие неприятности в разных формах могут произойти с нами с каждым, на каждом шагу.
So the main thing that I understood, I am ready inside that anything can happen. So for example, my husband can come, for example, come to me and tell me that something had happened. I couldn't even imagine in my thoughts that it might happen. But after the situation, this summer, I understand that my heart has changed, and sometimes I do believe that we go through such situations so that God can change our heart and make it softer.
Потом я со своим знакомым одним встретилась, и он говорит, что так и так у них в семье есть неприятности. Говорю, а твоя жена знает об этом? Он говорит, не догадывается. Говорит, ну, может быть, догадывается.
And after that, for example, I met one person,
они думают, что мужья им не изменяют. Зачастую они об этом не знают. То есть, если взять, например, 100% пар, у которых есть супружеская измена, то есть там 90% не догадываются, ни муж, ни жена. Хотя, ну, есть кошмар.
It's like statistics that in many families, wives or husbands don't even know that their husbands or wives cheat on them, and they should be ready just ahead some periods of life to forgive even my husband for doing that. So whatever happens, I forgive. Because we all can get in some kind of trouble. We all can. We all should be ready to forgive. And even then, after this time, for example, I asked my husband if he had been faithful to me, and he told me that he had been waiting for this question for 10 years just to tell me that he had been faithful to me. And to tell the truth, when I asked him, I was afraid to hear the answer. I wasn't ready to forgive him. But after going through such things, I understand that I'm ready to accept somebody's failures. Yes, of course, it was just a money situation. So sometimes when we say that I had been faithful in real life, people think that if I had been faithful, then I'm good. I'm a good husband. But what I found, grace by God's grace, because I used to think that thanks to my qualities, I have been faithful to my wife, but even this is God's grace. Thanks to my situation right now, I understand that He's being able to be faithful. It's God's gift. And because of, there are different grace situations when God helps you. Sometimes God lets you out. Sometimes God protects you from something. But if there is no grace, it's you like hopeless.
Я не спрашивала в этом случае, но у нас с мужем часто бывают откровенные разговоры.
Very often I talk openly to my husband, and my husband told me that he had temptations, that my husband consults families, consults people. We were reading about heavens, and my husband told me, please forgive me in advance, because when we come to heavens, you will see my thoughts, and I am sorry, please forgive me, because when you know it in heavens, it will be. Because sometimes you think that maybe it's in my thoughts and nobody sees, so it's okay, nobody sees that. Actually, lust comes from your brain, from your thoughts, and then only it comes to the action. And I wanted to thank Pastor Sunday for opening his weaknesses in front of us, because for somebody he is not perfect, maybe he is not perfect. And somebody thinks that, oh, of course, oh, now my pastor is not perfect and I need another pastor. Okay, good luck. But every time when our pastor is sincere and he opens his, we could call it bad sides, it's encouraging me, because I know that if something happens to me, I'm sure he will understand me. He will understand and he will forgive me. For me, it's just an example that in spite of having weaknesses, you can serve people, you can serve God. For right people, for understanding people, it will be even encouraging, because people will see it and they will stop accusing themselves. Because some people think that Pastor Sunday is great and he is okay, he has anointing and it's easy for him not to sin. Yes, of course. But when pastor says that he is the same person, the same human being, and he is going through the same temptations, it's very valuable for me personally. Thank you very much. It gives me understanding of a man and walking with God. That Pastor Sunday says, yes, really, because we have always kept it a secret, and pastors didn't open their hearts, and usually the status, people think that the status of pastor makes you not a person. That because you are called a pastor, you are at least half a man. You don't have the same temptations or problems. So status doesn't let you sin. So pastor lives only in heavens, and he knows about my sins, but he doesn't, because God, he is a prophet and he sees me and only me and only sins. when your pastor is going through different situations, it's not that you have to go and find a more perfect pastor, but thank you, pastor, for opening your life and maybe some failures. You know what I think Pastor Sunday says? I planned before my leave in Ukraine, I want to get my pastors, and I want to tell them about all my problems and temptations and weaknesses, and I want to tell them, here your pastor was anointed, and he was a human being, but for myself, I know if I haven't had these 7 years, it was really impossible for me that I can really have like human things, human stuff. But God let it come to my life, and now I want to tell them, when you know that I'm not I don't only have strengths, but I have weakness, I give you freedom. Do your, make your choice. And I want to see who will pass this examination, because everyone wants to pass this examination while they have this fame, but when they know about your weakness, will they pass this examination? Sometimes you have to let people know who you are, so that you know if they love you or the fame that you have. And let God forbid you have a failure, they would kill you. So Jesus told us that who doesn't have sin, okay, take this stone. So if this person can take this stone, okay, because Jesus said, okay, let me see who is going to take the stone. So the person kills himself because he isn't perfect himself. And this person, if he takes the stone to throw it at you, he will take first against himself. That's why we have to reveal our temptations, our, bad sides, to shock people, to tell them who you are in real. Let me tell you one more thing. It helped me. I had known it. I had tried to live properly, but thanks to my friends, when my friend had this situation, bad situation, Ted Haggard, he is the best person, and ministers, he's the best. If I had 1,000 pastors, he is the best. And can you imagine, I was shocked and surprised when he had been in homosexual relations for 10 years, and he had been hiding it. Of course, would you tell if you had this? Of course, you wouldn't just go and just tell everyone. Okay, maybe you would go to BBC and tell everyone openly what you are going through. Of course, he had been hiding it, but can you imagine? It's just confused because I, on the one hand, know that it's the best minister because of his qualities, his friend. And for me, it was a revelation. At once, the whole world started to bite him, and inside I know this person. I don't care what sin he has, even if it is homosexual sin, okay, but I know another side of this person. Immediately I had this revelation. I was at his house, he was at my house. We spent some time together, but so I knew that it was not him. So I understood it was not his heart. It was not himself. You feel that, you know what I want to say. Yes, he did it. Yes, 10 years, okay, but it's not the core of this person. It's not the truth about this person. So I understood that maybe it's 1% out of 99, or maybe 0.01, but it's not 99 good things, 99% of good side of his. He's different. He is different. It's not his nature. And even if he had it, and he said, yes, he confessed to this sin, and I knew I would never refuse from this person. I would never break relationships, and he would always be the best minister for me. Because I don't care what the world says. I know him. This is a revelation I got. Because for months I've been thinking about it. Even if now somebody would come to any of you, and would tell you about my weakness. Maybe I watched pornography, maybe I slept with someone, and this person would take the video and would show this about the truth about Pastor Sunday. Okay, here is a video, look. And the whole world would think, though he is a liar, that is his real nature. But you know me. Okay, it's kind of 1%. You cannot identify a person or define a person, make a brand of this person basing on his mistake. So it doesn't really matter what mistake, whatever mistake he has done. Maybe it's not homosexual, maybe it's proud, maybe you did something. Okay, you watched the pornography and somebody did it, or maybe you thought about something and somebody caught it, and they start to make an image of you according to this mistake. I am one of those people who had called these people homosexuals. Why should I stop judging the personality of this person, talking about his sexual orientation? Maybe he is Peter or Nicholas or somebody else. Maybe he is a better son than that I was. Maybe somebody's husband and better than I am. Or maybe he is a better father than I am. Maybe he's just a professional. Maybe he's somebody. Why should I stop at his name on this weakness? And I nullify everything. He's good, he's good, I just nullify every good thing and don't want to see it only because he's a homosexual orientation. It's just sex, it's just his. It doesn't really mean less than 1% of my life. It doesn't really make anything it doesn't influence anything. Why do I stop on a bad thing and give definition to a person according to these weaknesses? You have to be just, nobody. For example, I have lust, but my name is not Lust, or Last One, or a smoker one, or it's not my name. People don't call me according to what my weakness. So God says He understands us. We want to be understood. We want to have mercy in our weakness. But what we think, he's some homosexual, and that's not the only one. It's not his name. And I understand why they fight against us, why they make movement, why they fight. Because they want to survive. Actually, it's not fair, because we look at this like like, I don't know if you understand me, but we understand, Pastor. Yes, yes. I'm from Donetsk region, and okay, let me. Pastor, I'm shocked. It's revelation, and we have never thought this way. We have never had this kind of attitude, because we killed people for any mistake. To tell the truth, it's just reformation. I understand that in order people to accept it, you have to first cast out, or maybe you have to be destroyed as a pastor or as a human being, and then church will understand. People don't understand God this way. People don't accept or perceive or whatever. They don't feel God this way. Of course, they will tell that you agree with the sin, but if people understand the heart of God, then we will accept God, and we will see God from a different side. So we just, you know, you just set a name on the people, you know, who make mistakes. He is a sinner, he is a smoker, he is someone, and you should write the book, please, about the book which will repair Christianity and repair the understanding of God. Our sister says that personally I think that you had to go through these 7 years of courts so that you understand. Pastor says, I myself was dying. I myself was thinking that it can't happen to me. That's why one time I want to tell my pastors whatever I have gone through. I want to see who will leave me and who will stay. I will understand that these people know God, because I won't lose anything if they leave. My anointing and my grace will multiply. So I have gone through something that you automatically have anointing simply because you have stayed with God. But if a person knows that I have some weakness and judge me according to my weakness, we are killers. Many of us will not get to heavens because from the name of God we kill people. And God says, I will build my church. I will do it myself. Crusades and Inquisition from the name or by the name of God, we are still killing people by different methods. You should, Pastor says that you should name the name of the book, Why God Accepts Homosexuals. And no, Pastor says, no, not this way. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Anne. I'm from the church in Irpen, and I want to tell this world that there is no gospel without mercy and forgiveness. I don't know what Jesus you know, or what kind of Jesus you know, but I know that in Christianity there is no God without mercy and forgiving. I came to God from Orthodox Church, and there are a lot of things based on self-righteousness. So, of course, they say, like, God, be merciful, but when we came to church, with my husband. We repented in one day, and
Слушай, ты так долго будешь рассказывать. Давайте я приглашу пока маму и отца, где они, ребенок.
let me invite people for blessing. I have to leave right now and greet some people, but you will continue. Don't lose people, please. So, okay, you have cheating paper so you can see what you have to do. I have to bless children and go. Let us greet Pastor Sergey and Marina. I heard you had difficult delivery. I think all kind of giving birth is difficult. After I saw my wife's giving birth, I told my wife, enough children, let us adopt children, but not giving birth again. We were getting ready, but still it's painful. And as a result, at the end we had to make a Caesar operation, and it's easier, but because my daughter was born, there was a real problem. It was like double. There was like the process was painful.
Все открылось, и уже Тина уже должна была выйти.
So the moment when the child had to appear, the doctor started to get nervous and asked my wife why she wasn't pressing, and the doctor said that they couldn't get the child. And in this
говорит, все, будем делать кесарево.
And they decided to make an operation.
Да, ну вот ключевое то, что она не смогла ее зацепить. И
So
когда
the
сделали
main idea
кесарево,
was
она была из-за того, что не могла ее зацепить, была недовольна. И когда сделали кесарево,
opened,
она вот об
thanks
этом
God,
и говорит, что говорит, хорошо,
because the
потому что
child
если бы мы зацепили,
was surrounded with
но был бы инвалид. То есть я тогда вот понял, что это свидетельство, что это не просто
if
так
they
она не
gave
смогла
birth
ее
naturally, the child would be an invalid. So God protected the child and saved her life. So that is a miracle. Okay, let's welcome to the baby. Let's pray for this family.
Господи, в имя Иисуса, я молюсь за Сергея, Марину, потрясающе служителей, вернейших людей, с ревностью Божией. Я высвобождаю, Господь, Твою благодать на эту семью, Твое благословение, чтобы с появлением Тины, чтобы, Господь, изобилие Твое пришло, чтобы обеспечение Твое пришло, чтобы расширение Твое пришло, чтобы исполнение Твоей цели, планы, Господь, состоялись. Чтобы Господь здоровье пришло к этому ребенку, чтобы крепость, чтобы Господь воля и планы Твои, Господь, состоялись через жизнь Тины, именем Иисуса Христа, чтобы она стала благословением для всей семьи, и чтобы Господь в ее поколении она стала знамением для Господа. Именем Иисуса Христа, благослови и во всех делах, Господь, и используй их, чтобы принести новую Украину. Именем Иисуса Христа. И весь народ Божий скажет. Аплодисменты. Спасибо. Благословен. Спасибо за все галстуки. Это они мне делают вот такие бабушки. И рубашки. Благодарим. Продолжаем общение. Не расходитесь. Это мне нужно по нужде, но вы продолжайте. Go with me. Are you sure there is a place? Unless he gives you his place. Huh? Are you ready to give your place over to her? Then you want to speak now? Okay. Давайте, пускай иностранка скажет первое.
Hello. Yeah, as Pastor was talking, what came to my own mind is the fact that if we as Christians were picking on the little things that is wrong in our lives, we're thinking of, we're still thinking of someone, my husband offends me, and this hurts me, and I don't think I can forgive him. You know, you're thinking of my worker did this, he lied to me. I don't think, when we eventually come out to work, when we come out for this work of national transformation, and you find yourself amongst unbelievers, you know, right now when you're working, most of your teammates are Christians like you. But it will come to a point, you are working outside there, and people who are side by side with you are not Christians.
Коли пастор говорив про те, що, наприклад, хтось нас ображає, такі якісь маленькі речі, от що спалось на мою думку. Коли ми одразу починаємо думати, ну, хтось мене образив, мій чоловік мене образив, хтось мені збрехав. Але коли приходить, ну, скажімо так, така ситуація, ми ж всі працюємо десь на роботах, і якась, ми всі там намагаємося змінити суспільство. І ми не тільки в церкві, скажімо так, крутимося, ми також крутимося і в суспільстві, де є невіруючі люди.
So if you're to work side by side with unbelievers, people who are not in faith with you, and they want to, like, they are working, like in Nigeria now, you're going to work, and they want to build the nation with you. They want to do things with you. Side by side, you are doing this work, but this person is an adulterer. This person has a worker who cheats. This person has, you know, different situations that you have.
І, наприклад, в Нігерії, от я працюю в такому сфері національна реформація, і я працюю з різними людьми, але ці люди дійсно хочуть будувати країну з тобою. Але ти знаєш, що ця людина, він, зраджує своїй дружині, а ця людина ще по-іншому грішить, але все одно вони роблять щось для країни.
If you carry this attitude, you know, of every little thing is a problem, every little thing, I can't stand it, if it is a sin, it's a big deal, then you're going to be more of a problem to the person who is working side by side with you than a solution.
І коли ми будемо зосереджуватись на таких маленьких речах, коли ми будемо зосереджувати нашу увагу на гріху іншої людини і робити з цього велику проблему, тоді ми, як віруючі, станемо не вирішенням проблем суспільства, а ми станемо навпаки тими, хто приносить ще більше проблем в це суспільство.
It means when the person is telling you, actually everything is okay in my house, my husband loves me, the only thing is that he cheats. What else do you expect of an unbelieving husband? He'll probably cheat. But if in your own mind, your holier than thou attitude is there, you're going to see, if he cheats, if my husband cheats, I'm going to leave him right away. And that's the advice you're going to give her.
І, наприклад, вам розкаже дружина невіруючого чоловіка, і вона також невіруюча, що в мене в сім'ї все класно, я люблю свого чоловіка, чоловік любить мене, але просто він мені зраджує. І коли ми принесемо своє відношення таке, якщо б мій чоловік мені зрадив, я б його залишила прямо зараз. І це та порада, яку ви принесете цій жінці.
So we should hate sin, because sin is not good. God has shown us the effect of sin, so we should hate sin. But we should be careful. We are the ones to show the world how to love sinners.
І, звичайно, ми повинні ненавидіти гріх, тому що Бог ненавидить гріх. Але ми є тими людьми, які повинні прийти в світ і показати світу, як любити грішника.
So I believe the essence of what Pastor is saying is not just for within ourselves, but when we carry ourselves out there into the world, we should be the ones to show the world that you can love sinners even though you hate sin.
І я так думаю, що те, що пастор нам, от основне послання цього меседжу пастора, це не коли ми йдемо в світ, ми повинні показувати світу, як ненавидіти гріх, але як любити грішника. І бути тим, хто любить грішника. Дякую.
С третьей попытки я все-таки
So let me
то,
tell
что у меня
me
есть в сердце.
what I have in my heart.
Когда мы пришли в церковь,
When we came to church
это было первичное
with my
покаяние,
husband, it
первичная
was
благодать Божья.
the beginning of
время
God's
было всё
grace.
хорошо,
For some time
несколько
it
месяцев,
was
а потом,
good,
муж стал курить.
and then my husband started to smoke,
Курил он 4 года,
and he smoked for
около
4
5 лет,
years or
ходя в
5
церковь.
years
За это
going
время,
to
сколько
church.
я его пилила, сколько я угрожала, сколько я
I
просила, я уже просто
was
изощрялась,
arguing
так,
with
уже не знала,
him.
что придумать, чтобы как-то ему помочь,
So
избавиться от этого
it
греха.
seemed I was
И
trying
вы
to help
знаете,
him.
в какой-то момент я уже просто обессилила и говорю: Господь, что это такое? Вот что делать?
But
что
in
делать в
some
этой
time I
ситуации?
understood
Я же
and I
читаю
asked God,
Евангелие, я же вижу, есть
God, what is
конкретно
this?
правильные слова, правильные вещи, и так, как оно должно быть. И в какой-то момент ко мне
But
приходит понимание
in
в
some
сердце,
moment I understood
что
in my heart
есть правильные вещи, но
that
жизнь,
there are
она
good
не
things,
настолько как бы сама по себе
but
правильная.
life is
И не
not
все можно
right,
втиснуть вот в эти вот рамки, вот такие вот, как мы себе
and not
представляем.
everything can
И
fit the
я
frames
просто
which
говорю:
we
Господь, я сдаюсь.
have.
Я
And I
просто
told
сдаюсь.
God,
Я его
and
буду вот любить таким, какой он
I
есть,
give up.
и
I
я
will
буду
love
до
him
тех
as
пор
he
вот
is,
молчать столько, сколько надо. Я сказала,
and
конечно,
I
лидеру
will
сказала пастору, но я не оглашала
love
это,
him
знаете, вот так вот в церкви всем.
as he
И вы
is. I
знаете, что
told my leader,
произошло?
my pastor, you
Когда
know
я
what happened?
сдалась,
When I
Бог
gave up,
пришел и пришел
God
таким, знаете, вот
came
именно
and came
настоящим мощным спасением.
as
Я
a
действительно познала Бога.
powerful
Я в один прекрасный момент
Savior.
просто взяла телефон,
He
трубку, он говорит:
understood
Али, говорит,
God,
ко мне пришел Бог
and
Отец.
he told
И
me,
для меня это было такое, знаете, я
any
просто поняла, что
God
он
has
покаялся.
visited me, and I
Что
understood
вот
that he
теперь у него жизнь
repented,
будет другая. Он
that
начал
now his
по-другому
life
читать
will be
Слово. У
different,
нас начала
that
меняться
now
жизнь. И
our life
спасибо.
will
Я
change,
просто
and
знаю, что нет
I
нет
know
другой веры, как только вера в Бога
there is no
милостивого.
other
Я
face
знаю, что я
or
сама не пришла бы к Богу и не поняла бы очень многих
other kind
ситуаций,
of believing God
если бы
except
не
for
пришлось самой
believing
их
the
пройти.
merciful
Когда я
God.
сегодня говорю
There are
это
things
людям,
I
вижу, что
have
люди
gone
поступают
through,
вот так,
and
как
I
я
see
поступала
that
с правоправедностью.
people
Вот ты оступился, тебе вот надо то и
do
надо
the
это,
same
без
and
совета. Человек
advise
начинает говорить:
people.
ты не понимаешь, надо
People
стараться,
say
у
that you
голова
don't
на плечах
understand,
есть.
you
А
have
для
to
кого же
have your
написано
head.
местописание?
But
Не
who
полагайся
has
на разум свой, всей душой
this
своей написано, Господу Богу,
Bible
всем
verse that
разумением,
you have
всем
to
сердцем
hope
своим.
and believe in
Кому
God
это
and trust
сказано?
only God?
Вот это тот случай, когда
Who
действительно
does
голова
God
должна весить
tell
немножечко
you?
меньше, чем
So
вере
in
в
this case, you
И я
have
знаю, что
to
только такая
trust
вера
God
нас спасет
more than your
человечество.
logic
Я знаю, что
or
только
your
такая
brain
вера, она
can afford.
действительно поможет
I do
христианам
believe
дойти
that
до неба
such
и
faith
действительно встретить
will help
Иисуса.
Christians to
Только
get
такая
to
вера,
reach
никакая
God and
другая.
meet
И вы знаете,
Jesus.
после этого
After
я начала
this,
по-другому молиться
I
за
started
людей.
to
Я очень
pray
долго не могла
differently
простить
for
отца за то, что он
people.
13 лет пропил. И
I
вы
couldn't
знаете,
forgive
вот это
my
вот всё, оно
father
закрывало передо мной
because my
дверь, оно
father
мне не
had
давало
drunk for
двигаться дальше,
13
оно мне не
years,
давало увидеть
and it
призвание,
stopped
оно
me,
мне не давало
me
Божьей
from
силы
getting
двигаться
into
в
my
силе.
calling
Физически
and
постоянно
moving
болела. Но благодаря тому,
into
что всё-таки Бог сохранил
God's
и привел себя к
will,
дому пастырю,
but
я здесь
thanks to
увидела,
God that God
вот
saved
этот
me
вот
and
человек,
brought
он
to
мне показал Иисуса.
the house
Если
of
есть
pastor,
другой человек,
he
ну,
showed me
какой-то, еще есть какой-то
Jesus.
человек на земле,
Maybe
вот,
there is
который
somebody
являет
else
Иисуса
who
вот,
shows
максимально близко, вот
Jesus.
такой, как этот пастырь.
It's
И
like
для меня это
our
просто стало,
pastor.
знаете,
So
новым
for
отчетом
me,
жизни.
it
началом.
started a new
И
period of
я
my life,
с
a new
уверенностью
beginning,
могу вам
and I
сказать,
can
что
tell
все,
you
кто
for
бросает
sure
сегодня вызов и говорят: я устаю, вы не устоите.
that
Вы не устоите, Бог вам не
everybody who
позволит.
tells
Бог вашу душу
I
любит
will
гораздо
stand,
больше,
you
вы
won't
сами
stand.
себя
God
своей
will
плотью
not let
любите.
you because
Поэтому
you think that you are
я
more
знаю, что это
powerful
Божья
than
милость,
God's
это новый этап,
mercy
это новый уровень
in your
прохождения
life.
с Богом.
It's a different level of walking with God.
Можно я стих расскажу?
May I tell the poem?
Очень короткий. Здесь похоронен Джон.
Here is John buried.
Здесь похоронен Джон.
Here is John
Он
buried
потому
he
что
died
отстаивал свою правоту.
because he
он
was
был прав.
standing that he was
Но
right,
рок
and he
оказался
was right,
сильнее.
but the
И теперь
fate was
неизвестно,
stronger,
прав он был
And now it's not certain, or it's not, we cannot be sure if he was right or not. So it's not always right to be right to the death of somebody else. You are right, but this righteousness buried somebody. John was buried. Hello. I wanted to tell you about when I came from rehab center to my people, the same people, nothing changed. So everybody used drugs, and there was a moment I understand that I shouldn't talk to the people who used drugs, but there were two people, my close friends. One of them is now in the rehab center, thanks God for that, and I am thankful to my parents who helped her parents. But there was one more friend. She doesn't want to go to the rehab center and continues using drugs. Of course, I wrote to her, and I had double thoughts. First, to meet her, and I will start the same thing, using drugs. But I felt I didn't want, and I felt that my life had changed. I decided to meet her, talk to her, and when she told me about awful things, that she jealous to me, that I had changed, I told her that I had to talk to her. We drank some tea, we spoke, and she told me that you can. Actually, Annie, the other friend, did it. She started to change, and you don't. So for several weeks, I'm trying to help her, and I see that in her eyes, she is a person who needs help. She needs understanding. Everybody needs help. So what I'm leading to, however the person failed, you should love each other and support each other. I wanted to witness. I'm standing here also thanks to my wife's accepting me 3 times. I've been 11 years in church, and I failed so loudly. It was failing. It was falling. How to, okay, for example, I trained children. Okay, I trained children, and I left, and some things were missing because of my leaving. So actually, I was called different names. So it was really bad. So when you do something, you cannot be normal. Some people don't tell me hi, don't greet me, don't. Some people feel that, or tell everyone that I am a bad person. I started to use drugs and so on. And I don't tell that they were wrong. Maybe they had to deal with me this way. didn't accept me.
дальше жизнь шла. Я
But
не
life
умер,
went on.
жил как-то.
I
И
didn't
благодаря тому,
die.
что
And thanks
я
to
знал, что есть человек, это вот моя
the
жена,
person,
сегодняшняя Юля,
I knew
которому
that
я
there
мог
was
позвонить,
somebody
я 3 раза
who I
плакал, и там уже
could
это был там последний раз,
call.
ну все уже, ну такое начудил, уже везде там.
And
И я
after the
знал,
third
что
time,
она
I
как бы
knew
всё равно
that
меня
she
принимала.
would
То есть несмотря
accept
ни на
me,
что. То есть я думал,
despite
ну, как бы
anything.
ей про меня очень много наговорили, ну там,
She had been told a lot of things about me. People came and told her what I had been doing, and anyway, she accepted me. I was lying, I remember, and was dying. In Donetsk region, so everything was bad. I understood that it was the end. It was my end. I knew that I could call her and she would accept me and she would pick up the phone. I prayed and I told her, okay, God, I'm finished. Either I die or just help me. I called her and I asked her if I could come. She told me that they were waiting for me. And I asked her if she had known everything, and she said yes. She knew everything. In spite of this, come. Thanks to this accepting, I wasn't normal. To tell the truth, it was not normal. I went to church. I was a social minister. It was like shame on church, and it was really bad. I was really bad. In spite of this, I was accepted. And thanks to this acceptance, I could go on living. I could stand up, as we say. I could walk. I could believe. That it was not my nature, that I was different. I thought maybe there was no chance, because one time, second time, third time, and you think, then you think that, okay, it's your life, this is your real life. So you feel for 1 month there is wrong, but 4 years, 3 years, you had been okay, and then something happened. So what Pastor Christina said, it was something that you know, like you couldn't tell anyone what had happened. So everywhere, little by little, you just can't. You can't come back. So still inside, I couldn't feel acceptance, so you couldn't meet people, you couldn't tell to anyone, and you are just crossed out, like you are out of life. So thanks God to such people, for such people. After such failures, I understand a lot of people and different things. Now I see my friends. He has failed 7 times. He stole some things from me. So one time he stole some things from me and returned, and he was crying like, please forgive me. Then he stole something else, he went away, he got lost, and he didn't call me, and his mother called me. So there are different people, many times falling, getting up, and some rehabilitation centers don't accept him, and his mother calls me and tells me, please accept him. He came to church barefoot. Help him, talk to him. And I understand if I haven't failed myself 3 times, I might not accept him. If I hadn't been rejected by the society, I wouldn't have accepted anyone. And you look at him and you see he's not normal. And when he was brought to church, he stole a purse again from somebody, and you accept him again. And last time I sent him, I brought him home carefully, and I was talking to him. I bought him a ticket, sent him to a rehabilitation center because he has problems. So anyway, because of my personal situations, I would never have been able to accept him. After the 3rd time, I would tell him that he was crazy or something. But having gone through such things myself, you understand that it's just you have to accept. It's normal. You have to accept him. Yes, this is the person. It's okay. Everyone except for homosexuals, but anyway, it's a different topic. And Pastor today has opened my eyes.
Я хочу поделиться и запишите номер телефона Оли Быковой. Это психолог. Она очень многим людям помогает.
And she helps a lot of people. People who cannot set free, she finds the root and she helps. Many Christians visit her. 063 42 64 6. One more time. 063. It's a number of a psychologist. Maybe it's not to you personally, but maybe somebody needs. I've been there twice, but this person helped me a lot. So I want to talk about the topic. When I saw the topic and I analyzed my life, I have fallen in love. So the first thing is hormone, passion. That's why we fall in love. The person hasn't loved himself, herself, because of low self-esteem. And that's why they fall in love to feed ourselves, to feed self-esteem. And it's temporary for a pleasant condition of physical body. It was what has happened to me.
Потом, человек с высокой самооценкой, любящий себя и людей, но при этом изранен людьми, обстоятельствами, испытаниями, у такого человека возникает влюбленность к похожему человеку, который его понимает, ценит, поддерживает, покрывает. Можно сказать, что они одинаковые по духу, их тянет друг к другу. Таким образом, они исцеляют
They are drugged to each other, and that's how they heal each other. Such things happen to each other, and I had thought that I was sane and I was the best wife, and I told myself that I would never get divorced. I told it, and it was already the signal that I should be prepared to the divorce in my life. So when you actually judge somebody, you will be there, definitely. If you want, if you don't want, if you're clever, not clever, you will have to go through such things. And one time my husband was changing teeth, and he wasn't able to talk. Once I got up with the front tooth was like fell out. For 3 weeks I was going without teeth. And I was not feeling funny. It seems it's little thing. He couldn't speak normally, and it was really funny, and actually I couldn't talk after that because of my teeth. So even such small things, if you see something, cover or pray and run away. So what I have gone through in my life, even if you fall in love, even if you fall or cheated, don't accuse yourself. Don't eat yourself. Don't do it because devil takes it and uses it. Because you ask yourself, oh my God, why have I done it? You start crying. Just make analysis, write down or think why you have done it and how not to get in the same thing. God makes everything easy. He forgives you. Just ask sincerely, and that's it. In general, people accuse themselves, eat themselves. It doesn't really help. You had to go through such things. And the more things I come through, the more of God I see in my life. I hear Him, I follow Him, I enjoy His presence. When I was saint, I couldn't feel Him that close. After falling, I see God from a different side. He trusts more to such people because I have already gone through some things. Why does God give such revelations to God? Because pastor is trained. We could say that he's trained by such things. So thanks for such temptations. Without such temptations we are nothing.
Хорошо, я читал у нас пастор подготовил очень классные тезисы к этой теме. И мы давайте будем как бы в таком формате общаться, будем читать тезисы.
So let's read theses, and if you have some thoughts or examples, come and tell us.
Хорошо, тема. Почему влюбленность возникает в жизни совестных людей?
Первое.
По каким причинам жизнь одного из членов семьи может возникнуть или прийти желание влюбиться в чужого человека? Как это вообще? По какой причине? По причине того, что он человек. Есть, конечно, более мелкие причины. Например, когда человек не бодствовал. Но бодствовать 24 часа в сутки невозможно. Может, он насмотрелся какие-то фильмы, или потерял фокус. Это может быть причина депрессии. Но каждый из нас должен понять, что жить порядочно и не падать, это не только по Божьей, это только по Божьей благодати возможно. Когда мы полагаемся на себя и на свою силу, мы рано или поздно терпим фиаско. Потому что надежда на себя подведет. Вообще-то рано или поздно.
Hope on yourself, you will fail sooner or later. We spoke about it. So you never have, you cannot rely on yourself.
Что ищет зрелый человек во влюбленности?
What does an adult, a mature person look in falling in love? Nothing. The answer is nothing.
Очень мало людей, которые
Very
вообще
few
ищут
people are looking for falling in love. It happens out of
Чаще всего наша мораль и принципы порядочности должны были остановить человека, чтобы он понял, что ему нужно сражаться против подобных явлений.
Однако не у всякого человека получается справиться с самим собой. Поэтому очень мало кто вообще такие вещи ищет. People are looking for such things like working on yourself. It comes itself.
Люди не ищут влюбленность.
So people are not looking
это
for
находит
it.
на них само.
It comes.
То есть
there is no command.
Да, да. Да, то есть, как бы, я думаю, может быть, этот пункт отвечает на вопрос «почему?» или «как ты мог это допустить?» Да, то есть мы иногда, есть у меня знакомая одна, она говорит так, что если я способна объяснить причину поступка человека, тогда я могу его
says, if I can explain
если я могу вообще
the
объяснить,
reason
понять, знаете, вот
why
мы тоже иногда пытаемся
somebody
понять
does
мотив,
it,
почему ты так
why
поступил,
you do it,
что произошло,
what
тогда я
happened,
хочу. Если я не
then
могу
I
понять,
understand and forgive you. But if I can't,
тогда мне уже тяжелее.
then it's difficult to
То есть, я
forgive.
думаю, вот это, как
I
бы, ответ
think
простой,
this is
знаете,
the answer.
это как в этом фильме. Что, ну, о чем думают женщины?
It's about.
Кто смотрит этот отрывок, да? Одна женщина говорит, я тебе расскажу секрет. О чем мы думаем? Он говорит, да, давай, такой сидит, ждет. Не, вопрос, я извиняюсь, вопрос такой, чего хотят женщины? Это
There is a movie, What Women Want. And the question is, what do women want? And once in that movie there was a moment, the woman says that the woman didn't know what she wanted.
Да, вот это такой же самый ответ. Откуда это берется? Да вообще, может быть, и нет рода.
Maybe there is no reason, there is no root.
Можно отследить.
Sometimes you can follow the beginning, the root, but not always. Not always you can really understand where it comes from. Maybe a movie, maybe a thought, maybe something. It's very hard to analyze and open it.
Третье. Где корень проблемы влюбленности?
Where is the root of the problem of falling in love? The root could be
он себя открыл вообще. Если он
from
смотрит
what
не то, что
the
надо,
person
фильмы,
is feeding
картинки, вещи, которые могут повлиять на его чувства, то в
movies,
результате
pictures,
может и появляться
as a
влюбленность.
result,
Иногда у хороших
this
людей это
person
происходит потому,
falls
что они
in love.
встречаются с хорошими людьми,
Sometimes
которые
good
впечатляют и
people
вдохновляют.
meet good
Это
people
Люба вот только что об этом говорила, да?
who encourage them.
Первое, это мы находим утешение,
So
и
first we find
утешение, влюбиться, а второе, это то, как раз, о
comfort,
чем мы
and
говорили.
second we find the
Да, два
soul
ранены, как бы понимают
to
друг друга.
hurt people, understand each other, and that's it.
А до скольки общения? Да? До половины, да? Ну давайте 10 минут, да, мы дочитываем и... Да. Это также возникает из-за стресса и давления. Когда человек под давлением и стрессом, ему нужно избавление. И именно влюбленность есть таким избавлением для некоторых людей. Четвертое. Если это придет в мою семью, как на это
if it
реагировать?
comes to my family,
Вот
what do I
вопрос,
have
да?
to do? How to react to this?
Да, никак. Никак. И здесь поправка. Неважно, это будет у меня
It
или у моего
doesn't matter
супруга.
if it's
Если
me
это
or
придет в
my
семью,
husband.
то,
If it
во-первых,
comes,
надо знать, что
first
это
you
может
have to
произойти в любой
know
семье.
that it can happen in
Нет
any
более
family.
счастливых или несчастных на
There
этой
aren't
планете.
more or
Особенно в
less
мире, в
happy
котором мы
people,
живем, где
especially
сексуальные
in the
искушения на
world,
каждом шагу,
with
направо и
sexual
налево, что
temptation
угодно можно
everywhere.
ожидать. Статистика говорит, что
The
сексуальные
statistics
искушения
say that
приходят к
sexual
мужчинам
temptation,
миллион раз за год.
like husbands or men, have
Миллион за
million times a
Это
year.
патология. Это патология.
So really often.
О, тема интересная, да, сразу приходят, да. Мужчины себя оправдывают, да, к нам приходят.
So the
Да,
man
мы
may
такие, мы страдаем.
justify
Нам
themselves.
тяжело.
Oh yes, it's difficult,
Да,
it's
нам очень
hard.
тяжело, женщины.
Yes, it's really hard.
Ладно, я шучу, на самом деле.
I'm joking. To tell the
Это
truth,
просто чтобы надо знать. Знаете.
you have to know it.
Статистика говорит, что сексуальные искушения приходят к
So
мужчинам
sexual
миллион раз за
temptations
год.
come 1 million of
К
times.
женщинам искушения
And to
приходят, но
women
меньше.
less.
Что делать, если такие вещи
What-
происходят?
Like
Во-первых,
what you have to
если
do
это
if something
происходит с тобой,
happens,
надо
something like this
признаться себе,
happens to
что
you,
это есть.
you have
Потому что
to
многие люди живут в отрицании.
tell yourself that it
Один
really
из самых
happens,
главных
because some
способов
people live
перебороть это
refusing
заключается в
such
том, что
things.
признаться,
One
что
of
такая
the
проблема есть.
things which helps
Во-вторых,
is to
надо
accept
поставить для
it.
себя
Yes, it
определенные
exists.
границы и ограждения,
Then you
которые не
should set
позволят тебе
limits
довести
which will
это
not
дело до
let
нежелательного
you
конца.
lead this feeling to the end. Sometimes it happens when you have to talk to the person you are in love with and agree to help each other to avoid it and limit meetings with such people. So, as the Bible teaches us, run from adultery and stand up and stop this feeling. What to do if it happens to your husband or wife? First, start to listen to this person, to your spouse. Don't divorce. Falling in love doesn't mean the end of the marriage. You have to agree to help each other. 5. Why does a husband love or fall in love with another lady? The answer is
Представь, что у тебя есть костюм, который ты носишь 5 или 10 лет.
Imagine that you've been wearing a suit for 5 or 10 years, every day, every week.
Потом вдруг у тебя не может возникнуть желание поменять его на другой костюм. Почему вдруг у тебя не может возникнуть желание поменять его на другой костюм?
Why wouldn't you have this desire to change?
Не продолжать влюбляться в этот самый?
Why don't you stop?
Потому что привычка и фамильярность — это вещь, от которой
go
нельзя
on
уйти.
falling in love
Во-вторых, когда
with
ты
the
видел
same
супругу и
suit?
влюбился в нее, ты не потерял эту
When
способность
you
влюбляться и
saw
дальше.
your
Эта способность и
future
желание
wife,
остались.
you
Просто они
still
были
have this
восполнены в
desire,
данный момент.
but
Но они не исчезли.
these needs
Таким
were
образом,
fulfilled
как ты увидел
for
женщину и
some
влюбился,
moment,
точно
and
таким образом ты продолжаешь видеть не хуже женщин или мужчин каждый день. И нужна большая выдержка и дисциплина, чтобы не продолжать так же влюбляться, как первый раз в свою супругу.
and of course you have to stop yourself from falling in love with different people. To go on falling in love with your spouse, your wife or your husband, you have to work out the ways how to do it. And when you have been doing the same for a long time, you see weaknesses and things you don't see with the other person. So family life is work, and relations somewhere, it's just relax. So some people want to okay, where is the limit? Where is and how to stop just in time? The most important thing is to stop it, but when you fall in love, it's very hard. Chemistry takes over and you have to run away. So sometimes you have to find a person and run away. But very seldom people understand it. People usually condemn, and you have to find books and programs to help yourself. Thank you very much.
Что бы там ни было, есть такие слова, мы поем всю песню. Милости Твоей.
There is a song about mercy of God and the land and the world, and my life is full of it, and we have to remember about it.
Ты превознес над судом, возлюбил меня и вел свой дом. Ты спас меня и оправдал, освободил от вины, Господь. Ты спас меня и оправдал, освободил от вины. освободил от вины, освободил от вины. Аминь.
Аминь. Все, большое спасибо. С миром Божьим.
Конечно.